to work it out. But this idea that you were going to take division champions and say, hey, no longer are you guaranteed a home game. You better have a better record than the 6-seed wild card team, whatever. I just did not like that fundamentally. It sounds like obviously a lot of owners were still leery of that as well, at least the plan that was presented. So we'll see if it becomes a thing again. Remember, Roger Goodell reportedly wanted it, so I don't think this is like dead forever. Maybe they come back next year with some revision. I also think it depends on how does the postseason go this upcoming football season. I believe the proposal that was out there yesterday that they were discussing and ultimately tabled today was a direct result, obviously, of what happened in the NFC North this past year. I know the Lions were the team that submitted it, but it was the Vikings that kind of got screwed by being a 14-win team.
But the Lions were worried about being screwed.
But they were. Yeah. And so that's why it was being presented. And it sounds like, again, it was more on behalf of Roger Goodell. The Lions just kind of took fell on the sword, if you will, and were that team that presented it. I think that was an overreaction because of 1 year. So let's see what happens this year. If we have another season where a 14-win team is the wild card, then the noise is going to get louder, and then, okay, maybe this is going to start happening more and more, and we do need to look at it. But I'm hoping, like it has been historically, it was a one-off. This year, how many division winners are going to have fewer wins than wild card teams in their respective conference? So I'm hoping that doesn't happen again, and we can move on from it. But I am very happy when I saw this morning that the Lions ditched the reseeding proposal. What is clearly the focus, though, right this second in the league, there's a meeting going on right now. Diana Rossini's been kind of like doing play-by-play of it, basically. Jeffrey Lurie, the owner of the Eagles, has brought in Jason Kelsey to try to explain to other owners why the tush-push should not be banned. And even though I have told you I don't think it is a aesthetically pleasing play, I think it's boring and all of that, I do think some people have tried to put out false info to make it seem like it's a worse play than what it is in terms of like the injury data we don't know yet. However,
the NFL's openly admitted that.
You can't go on the other side, and there's reports that Jeffrey Lurie today is telling people in this meeting, owners, that it's one of the safest plays in football. That seems a bit much to me.
Also, we don't know that. We don't have the injury data. For the same reason they can't call it dangerous, Jeff. They can't. You can't also just call it the safest play in history. That's rich, by the way. And, of course, trust the source right on that end. But the fact that Jeffrey Lurie, the owner of the team, said, this is the safest play in history, and they brought in Jason Kelsey to dispel the myth that is the tush-push, tells you that they can sense it's going to die, Gold.
Well, I think they're worried.
I think it's pretty clear, and Diana Rossini and some others are reporting that the expectation is that the tush-push is going to go away, and they're freaked out about it. I do think that tells you one thing. It tells you how much the Eagles value that play. And what makes that kind of shocking to me is how have there not been more NFL teams who have tried to perfect it the way the Eagles do? Like, just straight up. If the Eagles value it to this point, that they'll do anything, man. They're sort of bringing, like, Rocky up to the stage to try to convince people not to get rid of the tush-push in Philly pride, and they're trying to do anything they can to try to save this thing, and no other NFL team committed to it the way they did. I understand they got statistically a better chance because of Jalen Hurts and the offensive line, but nobody ever tried to do it the way I felt like when the Wildcat took over the NFL, Gold, and every single team seemed to have like that moment in the league. It didn't seem like everyone adjusted to it the way the Eagles did.
Yeah, no, I mean, to their credit, they took advantage of something that has existed. Remember, though, this idea of the tush-push being banned, or even future down the road, or down the field, I should say, Trey Smith or other linemen, pushing down the field as well, that's going to be included in this ban. And expectation is it's going to get banned today, and barring some complete shift in votes in the next 4 hours or so. I think it's for those that are upset they're now going to ban it. This was something nobody cared about on both sides. So you can say that nobody cared about it not being banned until the Eagles were good at it, but then you also have to acknowledge, if you're going to say that, because that's an argument people have used, that it's just to attack the Eagles. 15 years ago, it wasn't allowed as well, and nobody was saying, oh my gosh, how are they not allowing it? It's only because, on both sides of it, right? People don't like it because one team's doing it, but also people are acting like it's only against, it's a new rule. It's been a rule before. Jalen Hurts has probably got the strongest lower body in football from a quarterback perspective. Their running back Saquon has tree trunks for legs. He's as strong as any running back in football. That's why it works there. Everybody thought it was Jason Kelsey was the key for it. Well, they just did it with Cam Jurgens, I believe, as their center. They just did it with him. So it is a scheme. It is also the right quarterback-running back combination. that works. Yesterday, the stat we gave out, 33 of 55 or something like that. I'm off by maybe a touchdown or two. Of Jalen Hurts rushing touchdowns were from the tush push. So, of course, I mean,
Saquon's
if we were in
numbers
Philadelphia,
might go up.
I'm not saying I think if we're being honest with ourselves, if we were in Philadelphia, we would be upset that this is going to get banned as well. It is a vital play to how they operate. Does it mean they're going to stink now? Of course not. But they will have to maneuver differently than how they have. Right now, prior to the ban, if it happens, it's a 3rd and 2, Cody. We know that they got 2 shots either at the tush push or they can take 1 shot down the field. Or it's not 100%, but it's pretty darn close.
About as close as an NFL play can get.
I think, but there's a lot of misinformation out there on both ends of this, but acting like it's the safest play is hilarious. People in the text line said, I think the kneel down might be the safest play, or the spike.
The spike. Now you still got to move a
You
little
have
bit
to
on
move
the
on the
spike.
spike. That's true.
On the kneel down, everyone just kind of stands up, so that might actually be the safest play. I don't feel like Jeffrey Lurie's got stats to back up. It's the safest actual football play. Also, based on any success they've had at any point, the end around might be the safest play at this point because you just get tackled after about a yard or so. No, I think what comes to in point of this is if you're on it's a safety issue, you're just lying to yourself. You're just lying to yourself. You could say you think it could be or might be a safety issue, Gold, but you certainly can't make the argument that it is as of right now. We do not in any way have data to support the fact that that is the case. If you just don't like it because it's ugly, that's fine. People change rules for that.
It's definitely a boring play, and it just you know what's about to happen on a given play, and it's just a big rugby scrum. That is very boring, and that's not the reason to ban it. That's why I definitely won't be hurt if they if they ban it whatsoever.
Why can't that be a reason though? We talk about aesthetics of a sport all the time. We get rid of things because they don't make the game pretty. We try to increase things outside of this. I would just say the thing that stands out is this is a rare rule that impacts the offense negatively. Typically, that goes the other way, and they typically try to help that side. But I'll just say any rule change always feels like it's either targeting somebody or specifically helping someone. And so
it always takes somebody doing something or something bad happening. This, by the way, is take it away from sports, Cody. This is just how life works. There's a lot of things that weren't laws or whatever until it became a problem. This is just how stuff works.
Dude, I don't want to play. We'd have to go find it. It'd be way too much digging. There's this old clip from the 70s or 80s.
Okay.
It's like a TV news clip. And they're interviewing these people in Wisconsin, and they're talking about how they are no longer allowed to drink open containers of alcohol while driving. And these people are like, can't relax after a day of work anymore? Just can't live in America these days. And they're talking about they are mad that they're right to just slam beers on their car ride home while driving is impacting their day. So no matter the time in history, people always do feel that way. The Chiefs have been targeted on a couple of rules. The overtime rule, which the Chiefs were for, by the way, before, came right after the Buffalo Bills didn't get a chance to possess the ball in OT. Those things happen. Rules change. All of that kind of goes in there. Drew, do you really think you have that news report?
So it says 1980 news report. I think
we got the idea. I mean, if you want to play a little bit.
I'm just kind of curious.
I think we got the gist of it, but if you have a short clip,
let's
hear
20 seconds.
Any attempt to restrict drinking and driving here is viewed by some as downright undemocratic.
It's kind of getting common is when a fella can't put in a hard day's work, put in 11, 12 hours a day, and then get in your truck and at least drink 1 or 2 beers.
They're making
jeez.
Let's go.
Oh,
Dude,
my. And that's from 1970 something?
1980. Every person in that clip is like that.
Oh, my.
Getting to this point in this world, can't have a couple of beers on the way home. You're like, dude. He's just talking about openly drinking and driving. You're restricting my rights. You're like, all right, man.
So we'll see how this plays out today. The tush-push ban is expected to happen. The latest update from Diana Rossini is that Jeffrey Lurie, the owner of the Eagles, just finally sat down after a speech that lasted over a half an hour. Now he is giving way to Jason Kelsey, who's going to talk about the safety of the play and why it's not a unsafe play. So
they got a PowerPoint presentation?
Basically, yeah, it sounds like it. They are very worried about this play going away. It's been a huge part of their offense. It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean the Eagles are going to stink if they ban it, but it's something clearly Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts and that offense has a massive weapon. And I don't blame them for not wanting it to be banned. Of course, I mean if we were in the same spot in Kansas City,
yeah,
we'd
they
be
took
saying,
advantage
why
of
are
it.
you
I hope
banning
they
it?
don't.
But from the outside, like a lot of things, yeah, like I totally understand why they might want to ban it. And I do think someone said the extra point is even worse than the tush push. I'd argue now the extra points are getting missed more often these days. So actually, I would say the extra point is not as boring of a play even as this. The tush push, literally, you can't even see where the damn ball is on the tush push. Like, honestly. You can't even see. We have to wait 30 seconds for them to undo the pile to find out if Jalen Hurts is had the football across the line of scrimmage or not.
And I kind of agree with the text line on this. I do think that one of the issues, and I mentioned this a little bit yesterday, is it's a competitive balance issue. I am not allowed to push Chris Jones, right? Gold, you can't be some defender behind him shoving Chris Jones back in order to reverse it. So you have a massive offensive competitive advantage over me.
We've talked about this, though.
You're
Ross
all allowed
Tucker.
to push me, and I'm not allowed to do it the other way. It's kind of weird.
So I've heard that a lot. And then, remember, we've brought this up. Ross Tucker pushed back on what you just said. And he claims that you can do what you're saying. I don't know. He played in the league, so I'll lean on him. But because I've heard that argument, Cody, a lot, that the defense can't push the linemen. Shouldn't be good for the offense and not the defense. Ross Tucker said that you can do that. So I don't know.
I just generally don't think in the NFL you should be pushing or pulling other players. You should be responsible for your own momentum. Like, I don't think I should be able to stand on the other side of the line and be like holding both your arms, Alex, and dragging you across either. I think you should just be responsible for your own, like, you should be responsible for your own momentum. And if it's not going to be that, then it doesn't really make sense to me that, like one side or the other, just move your own, use your own momentum. But this thing's going to get banned. Like, I mean, at this point, there's just no way to think it's not going to.
So we'll find out, and we'll keep an eye on everything when it comes to rule changes today. And also, we'll discuss the onside kick, which did have a tweak that was approved by owners. So it's kind of a busy day in the NFL when it comes to some of the rule stuff that could have an impact moving forward. But we all know, as we discussed yesterday, the offensive line will continue to be a huge story heading into the start of the season. And yesterday, Joe Thuney got that extension, and we kind of went back and forth about what you would have been okay with contract-wise for Thuney versus maybe giving Trey Smith a long-term deal. And then there were some numbers that the 33rd team put out. It just puts in a perspective of the offensive line issue of last year and how targeted it really was, as in left tackle. And you're like, well, duh. But here's the numbers. Every offensive lineman that played 1,000 snaps and allowed one or none sacks. So one or no sacks in 2024. And there's a list of, 10 linemen? The Chiefs have 3 of them. Trey Smith, Creed Humphrey, and Joe Thuney. Obviously, Tooney's not around anymore. But other names, Chris Lindstrom, Sam Cosmi, Penei Sewell, Quinn Miners, Jake Brendel. There's a list of about 10 of them. Okay, and the Chiefs had 3.
30%.
So this and 2 of them, and 2 of them are still on the roster. Your center and your right guard. So if we talk about the offensive line, like everybody, it was not an entire offensive line problem. But when you don't have a left tackle, we all saw what happened, and that's why the Chiefs went out and signed Jalen Moore. They went out and spent their first-round draft pick on a potential left tackle of the future as well.
I saw some reporting that's saying he's going to have a good chance to compete for the starting role in camp, and I'm interested in that. We'll see. I think that's too early to be saying that on May 21st when he can't even do the full breadth of the workout yet in order to do it. I looked at that stat and I was like, my God. Like, how bad was left tackle play? Like, I don't want to go back through Gold and only watch the left tackle for 20 games last year, including the Super Bowl. But is there any way at this point to assume that this is strictly only a left tackle problem, and otherwise they would have had one of the 5 to 7 best offensive lines in football? Not kidding. They had 3 guys who didn't even give up a sack. Now, Mahomes helps the numbers, admittedly. I think Mahomes does some sack prevention, admittedly. But still, I can't believe they got 3 guys on the list, and we still walked out of a year, Gold, thinking the offensive line stunk.
Yeah, but my only thing would be, as much as the numbers would say, it was a left tackle problem last year, and it was. This year, though, you have a question at left tackle still, and you have a new question at left guard. And that's going to be something that we also have to watch. As much as we're saying, is it Jalen Moore, Josh Simmons? Is it Caliendo? Is it Kingsley? You know you're not getting all-pro play from Joe. You don't have Joe Thuney anymore. Okay,
you're probably not going to get 0 sacks given up.
You don't need all-pro play at left guard. That's okay if your left tackle play is elevated. But you are weaker heading into the season in general still on paper on the left side than you were potentially last year at guard, no doubt. Like that's a given.
Yeah.
So
But you gotta be
are
better
you
at
how much of an
tackle, don't
increase
you?
how much of an increase can you get at left tackle to where you can handle average or above average left guard play if I tell you you're getting average or above average left tackle play. And ultimately you hope if it's Josh Simmons, you draft him in the first round that he ends up providing you much better than just average left tackle play. You're hoping this guy could be a stud and one of the better top 10, 15 tackles in football. Not maybe in his rookie season because I'm still not convinced that he's going to play his rookie season. We'll see. I will gladly be wrong on that. I'm just very skeptical that he's actually starting week 1 for the Chiefs.
Yeah, no reason not to be worried about it. I mean, obviously, you and I for the same reasons. Like, until he can actually practice, like be on a football field, do all the stuff, I'm not going to get my hopes up. I told you that if he's healthy in the way that they're saying he's healthy, and he's ready to compete day 1 of training camp, then he should have an equal shot at winning the job over Jalen Moore from day 1, because he should be, on paper, hypothetically, the better of the options. Moore's a career backup. You just spent a first-round pick on this guy. Everyone's trying to tell me, including the Chiefs, that he would have been a top 15 pick if it hadn't been for the injury that set him back in that regard. So everything kind of just in between, and that kind of making a difference. So yeah, I don't overly worry. I guess I don't overly worry about that competition, Gold, until we get a little bit closer to it.
Coming up in 10 minutes, we get a little Jack Watch update. Jack Caglione made his AAA debut yesterday. He's hitting 250, all right? He's hitting 250 now.
1 for 4.
That's right, that's right. So we'll talk
With a
about him
strikeout.
and what his success so far in the minors tells us about maybe hitting development within the Royals organization. Thinking of the Royals, though, last night, as we said, they fell to the Giants in Game 2 of this quick 3-game series. They're going to play this afternoon. That's why we're off the air at 1:30 and handing things off to Vern then for his on-deck show as the Royals take on the Giants. And, look, the offense and close games and the pitching, like it really is, as you joked about to start the show, it really is kind of the same thing every single night with this baseball team at this point in time. They also gave up a free out or two on the base pass, although at least this one was an aggressive steal attempt from Michael. It wasn't just, to me, bad base running, but still, you're giving up too many outs still on the base pass. And then there was a moment last night, I know it's happened a couple times, Salvador Perez, I think it was his second time up maybe.
When he was up 2-0? Or
It
which
was
account?
1-1 count.
Okay. There's a different at bat that annoyed me.
1-1 count, 90 mile per hour, just up in the zone a little bit, but middle of the zone up, and just completely whiffed. I'm like, if he's not connecting on those at this point, that's a sign that it's. I think, it's one thing if he's chasing. He's always chased. That's been a part of his game.
That is what it is.
When you're starting to not see the ball well in the zone, that's where I start to get a little more concerned about old Father Time.
You know what it was? Is I was watching the game last night, and I hadn't realized the exact date, but I was watching the game last night, and I was like, you know what the Royals need, Gold? They just need, a multi-run home run. And I was just like, they got the least amount of baseball. I don't know if you know this. They've got like 6 or 7 of those this year. The next lowest team has more than double than that. So, like, just a multi-run home run. And I saw Salvador Perez come up to the dish a couple of times. No big deal. A couple of runs. You're like, yeah. Why don't you just slug one out of the park? And I was like, when is the last time Salvador Perez hit a home run? And then when I go to look it up, I find out it's April 13th. April 13th, Gold? It's been 5 weeks since Salvador Perez hit a home run. 5 weeks? That's bleak, man. That does concern me. He's always had some amount of power. The swing and miss stuff. So there was an at-bat last night that frustrates you for the normal reasons. He was up 2-0, and then he swung at 3 straight pitches outside the zone. Okay, well, I don't know, man. Gold, same as you. That's kind of Salvador Perez. I'll take the good with the bad. Sometimes he swings at some pitches outside the zone. It is what it is. But he also occasionally hits a ball that's a foot outside the zone over the fence every once in a while, or does those kinds of things. And a lot of the way I'm starting to look at the lineup, and I don't know that they're at these decision points yet, but like Drew Waters they were better offensively, Gold, when Drew Waters came up instead of what they were doing offensively before, when they set down MJ Melendez and brought him up. So at what point are anybody hitting in AAA a better option than the guys hitting the big league level? Because at some point you got to make modicum differences in your offense, because one more run a game, Gold, could very well end up leading to wins. That's all the Royals need right now. They're losing 3-2 when they lose. One more run the game might be the difference between winning or losing for this team. So, I don't know. Runners in scoring position, Salvi not hitting a homer, multi-run home runs. It does feel like Groundhog Day. Every Royals game feels the same.
Yeah, and so today they're going to play this afternoon, as we said, in San Francisco at Oracle Park, and we were wondering just how they were going to approach to today's game, knowing with the pitching issues in terms of injuries, I should say. Pitching's been great, but just in terms of injuries and availability with a couple starters on the IL, and how quickly would they be willing to go back to Noah Cameron, or would there be some other options that they would potentially pursue? We now know the answer to that, by the way. It's going to be Daniel Lynch. Daniel Lynch will be starting today for
go
the
like 3 or
Royals.
4
So,
innings.
yeah, I mean, based on him being a bullpen guy for a while now at this point, you're probably not getting 5 innings out of him.
No.
You're probably going to ask him to pitch
60
3
pitches?
Yeah, get you
50
3. If
pitches?
he's really efficient, he could pitch into the 4th maybe, but you're
Yeah.
probably saying get us 3 innings and then we'll hand it over to the rest of the bullpen. It'll be a bullpen game. But this makes sense. You don't have to worry about calling somebody else up just for one start, especially after hearing that Reagans and Lugo hopefully are only going to be out for their given IL stints, not extended
Gotta do
past
this
that.
one more time,
So you
maybe
do it one more
flash.
time, and then this way you're not risking any injury with Noah Cameron by having him come back quicker. You have him on normal rest. He'll pitch Friday, Thursday, whatever it would be. They're not off tomorrow, are they? I think
They are off tomorrow.
They are off. Then they play Minnesota. So then you get him on normal rest, and that way you're not pushing the issue there. So Daniel Lynch, 2:45 first pitch this afternoon as we continue broadcasting from Heartland Men's Health. We're up at the Briarcliff location right up here in North Kansas City. Beautiful spot, especially if you're in one of the exam rooms as well. Just overlooks. You can kind of see downtown. And this is the place to go if you've been thinking about, something's not right. Something's not right. I know, whether it's in the bedroom, whether it's just with energy level, maybe it's a combination of low T and ED. There's a connection between the two there. The link between low T and ED, low testosterone levels can often contribute to ED, but they're also frequently a sign of the other, and that's where Heartland Men's Health comes in. They will do your lab work and have your results within 30 minutes. A licensed medical provider will review results with you and discuss your options, and you will make the decision together with their medical team. All it is $99, which includes medical consult, testosterone, and a PSA level as well. All you got to do to make an appointment, 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600, or visit heartlandmenshealth.com. Up next, I want to talk a little bit about Jack Cagliano, what he did last night, and one thing Cody is very upset about when it comes to target share, I guess. He called it criminal, as a matter of fact. We'll get into that next.
This is Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Tune in to hear Royals insider Josh Vernier every Wednesday at 12:30
We need to nip this in the bud. We need to nip
what in the bud?
on your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan.
Baseball season is in full swing, and that means the summer heat is coming. The guys at Climate Control have been serving KC homeowners for over 35 years, and they know how to get your cooling system ready to handle our scorching hot summer weather. I know it doesn't feel like that right now, but it is going to be here before we know it. You got to stay cool and comfortable this summer. Call Climate Control today at 816-265-2830. That's 816-265-2830, and schedule your AC system tune-up for just $59. Don't wait. Visit ClimateControlKC.com today. Climate Control Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Jefferson's has a brand new happy hour designed to save you money. Enjoy half off appetizers and half off your bar tab. 7 days a week at Jefferson's Lenexa and Jefferson's North Kansas City. Yeah, you heard that right. Half off your bar tab during happy hour at both locations. And it gets even better. Mondays are all day happy hour. Plus, they've got reverse happy hour every night. Whether you're catching the game or just kicking back with family and friends, Jefferson's in Lenexa and North Kansas City is the place to be. Proudly local and always delicious. Jefferson's. Wings, burgers, oysters.
This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, where our testosterone therapy can help you sleep better, improve your sex drive, give you better gains in the gym, and more. Please take a moment and listen to how we help this patient.
Hi, my name is Matt. I've been a patient of Heartland Men's Health for over a year now, utilizing their low T treatment. I woke up one day and realized that I was twice the guy I used to be, and my energy was half of what it was. I made the decision to come into Heartland Men's Health just wanting to feel better and trying to find a solution to why I was tired all the time. And the results I've gotten brought me back to being myself. It brought me back to being the best spouse I could be, to being the best father I can be. Any of my friends that ask me, they see me, they're like, you're a different person, or they're like, what are you doing? Guys, if anything I've said today resonates with you or makes you think that this might be a good place for you to come get checked out, meet with a specialist here and get your life back on track and feeling better.
Thank you. It's true. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Don't let clogged drains slow you down. Call Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter today for our $79 mainline drain cleaning special. The pros at Hamilton will inspect your drains with video camera technology to pinpoint exactly what is needed to clear those clogs and help prevent expensive drain repairs. The expert technicians at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to solve your problem the right way the first time. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews ensures your peace of mind. Visit callhamilton.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
I'm McCall from Lee Summit Subaru, and we're committed to helping our community through the Subaru Love Promise, like our commitment to Hillcrest Transitional Housing to help solve homelessness. Lee Summit Subaru also sponsors several pet adoption clinics like Midwest Animal Rescue and events each year such as Dogtoberfest. It's all part of the Subaru Love Promise, and we're committed to helping our community fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru. LeeSummitSubaru.com.
In 1950, my great-grandpa started Gunter Pest Control, and 75 years later, we're still Kansas City's highest-rated team of local experts. With decades of experience, our team has perfected the treatment plan to keep your home free from bugs, rodents, and termites. Gunter protects your home, but also the environment. Our treatments are safe for pets and kids, and our electric service vehicles are charged in our solar-powered garage. Go Gunter, go green.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Your life, your goals, your legacy. With a dedicated Fidelity advisor, it's all part of a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Visit Fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE, SIPC.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You could think you found your dream home online, but here's the twist. The lot next door just got rezoned for years of construction. Work with the expertise and ethical training of a Realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors, right by you.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has greenlighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at TaxPro USA to see if you qualify by dialing 800-880-5155. If you or your business owe at least $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Call TaxPro USA to get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-880-5155. 800-880-5155. That's 800-880-5155.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Back here on Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp with you. Drew back in studio producing the show. Today we are up at the beautiful clinic here in North KC for Heartland Men's Health, one of their 3 area locations. If you can't make it up to the center of the Villages here at Briarcliff, easy access from the north. Don't forget, in Independence, it's conveniently located between Lee Summit and Blue Springs, right off of I-70 and I-470, plus out south in Overland Park as well. All 3 locations have expert staff that know men's restorative health and provide 5-star patient experiences every day. You guys could even go online and check out the reviews for yourself and find out why they are the best in the greater Kansas City area as well. Coming up in just a bit, we'll get to a stat that Cody is calling criminal. All I saw said it's criminal. It has to do with one of the Chiefs wide receivers. We'll get there in a second. But last night, out in Salt Lake, Jack Caglione made his AAA debut. As you said, 1 for 4.
Yeah.
So he's in 250. What was weird about it is what was weird about it was the single he had was an infield, for a guy that has all the power in the world. It was funny that was his first hit, and he had to run that one out, man. He had to run that one out to first base. I don't want to talk about that particular game or anything like that. We're obviously joking a little bit about it's 1 game in and he's 1 for 4. But bigger picture, if he progresses the way everybody thinks he's going to, and obviously the fast track that he is on right now, the same way we've been talking about pitching development, and maybe there's a sign and a shift there. Where are we at on hitting development in the organization? Because, look, he was a top 10 pick out of college. He's a 10th best prospect in baseball. There'll be some people that will say, well, you can't really screw this one up, right? There'll be some people that would say that. So is he the example, or does it have to be somebody else? If he comes up to the big leagues and is what everybody thinks he is, J.J. Piccolo yesterday, they think there's some similarities to Pete Alonso. Is he the example, or does it actually have to be somebody else truly to prove that hitting development is also something that's headed in the right direction?
So in the pitching development case, it was both the new guys you bring in and up through your system, but also your ability to take the guys who weren't doing it and develop them in some way. In a lot of ways, though, Jack is probably the first case, because here's the truth. Gold, by the time they changed what they were doing from a hitting development standpoint, they were already, in my opinion, making all those guys were in the big leagues. The whole team existed, Gold. The example, or the early example guy, or somebody who could be different than that, Gold, at least hypothetically, could be Drew Waters. If you're looking for another example of, hey, they're doing hitting development better than they used to do hitting development, Drew Waters would hypothetically be another example case of, we took a guy, we had to spend time with him developing him in the sense that he's not in a big league level while we work on his approach. And since he's been back up, man works, right? But if it's not him, then it probably is somebody like Jack, because it takes years to see the results of it. And the only problem with this is that if Jack jumps this quick, it's not going to feel like the Royals got their hands on him and he's just a freak of nature, right? If he just comes up, you're just going to be like, well, I don't know if the Royals did anything for Jack Caglione. Maybe he's just that good. I am, and they have been so good about not rushing in a lot of ways and have said they don't want to rush. I don't know how the temptation would not seep into your head based on the current offense about, well, there's a solution. There's an option right there. We can't hit homers, right? We're like dead last in Major League Baseball, I think, in hitting home runs right now. What if, hypothetically, there was a guy in the minor league system
No, I get
that
it.
hits a bunch?
I get it. No, I get it. I mean, I'm sure you've gotten the same responses on Twitter and obviously on our text line as well, from people saying, why is he not already up, And I think if you listen to our conversation yesterday with J.J. Piccolo, he being Jack Caglione, is on the quickest, best-case scenario path to the big leagues that they would have ever imagined when they drafted him.
Yep.
So for those that are still saying, man, big league club is struggling offensively, he's got just what they need. I don't disagree.
They thought it would take way longer.
I don't disagree that eventually he's going to provide what they need. One, he's not alone going to fix the offense. There's a bunch of problems with it. Two, you just heard from the GM yesterday that said this is as quick and best case scenario track that you could be on. Like, I know we have this assumption just because he was a college player that, like, he should already be in the big leagues. This is a quick path that he's in AAA.
It's hard because other guys have made
I understand
the bigs.
Nick Kurtz, people will.
Yep.
People will bring up that.
I know, but that's also. Are we just pretending like workplaces don't work different, Gold? Like, for instance, are we just pretending like some workplaces are more willing to fly guys through the system? And I'll point out, and this is not way too small of a sample size. Nick Kurtz had played even less games, we'd pointed out. 13 games in Fall League. He had played in A and AA last year for like 25 games, about the same amount as Jack. And then he played 24 games in AAA this year or 20 games before in AAA this year before he got moved up. In the majors, he has now had 90 at-bats, 24 games. So more games in the majors than he had in AAA. He's hitting 222 with a 270 on base. 615 OPS. It's not like he's just murdering the baseball. Like, in retrospect, right, the A's, a team that's going nowhere. Would the 24 games in AAA have been better for him?
Well, I think what you just said about the A's.
Or the 24 games in the big leagues been better for him, you know?
I think what you just said, though, about where the A's as an organization are, that's the other part of this. This Royals team is on one hand, people will say, well, because they're gunning for a playoff spot and they're gunning for the division, that they should be more willing to bring somebody up quicker to help. I think it's the opposite, though. If this team was had zero expectation this year, and this team was already 10 games under 500 or something like that, Cody, then I think there would be more reason to say, screw it, no pressure on the kid. He comes up, and you're just supposed to develop, and we're good with it. You don't call him up early because this team is expected to compete right now and be in the mix right now. And with that, anybody that gets called up has a huge amount of pressure, and that's why it's different. I think it's if this was the Rockies or the A's, and not even the A's as much this year, but I'll say like the Rockies, let's go with Pirates, any of the Orioles even, these teams that are way under 500 right now, I think you would actually be more willing to call them up sooner.
Sure, get him major league at-bats. Let him get adjusted to the level so that when you are a team that matters, Jack Caglione is good. But I also
now the A's are probably not the best example for it though, because you're talking more about the Rockies, the White Sox, and even the Orioles. The Oakland A's or Vegas A's / Sacramento A's,
whatever the hell
they are, they've got some studs. They got Wilson, they've got Kurtz that is doing all right for them. And as you said, it's not like Kurtz is hitting 280 in the big leagues or something.
222.
Yeah, no
with
power.
a 270 on base with no power. And look, Jack Caglione has power. Here's the biggest problem with this is why I would be tempted if I were the Royals. They're dead last in home runs, and they can't score runs. And the last time I checked in Baseball Gold, a really quick way to get a couple of runs fast is if one person hits a ball and it goes over the fence, because it's worth more than one, hypothetically, or it's worth at least one. You don't have to risk anybody making a base running error somewhere between first and third. You don't have to move the guy over. You don't have to get a double, whatever. You can make this thing work.
All right, we got some breaking news in the NFL. The NFL owners did not have enough votes to ban the tush push.
Tush push lives?
So let me get the exact clarification.
They went to a
from
special meeting with just the owners.
Yeah, a ban of the tush push play that the Eagles popularized did not receive enough votes at today's league meeting. The play remains alive. There will be more tush pushes this season.
Wow.
They will keep it for at least another year. Eagles fans get their wish.
Man, Laurie had some juice in that room, didn't he? Because the last report I saw is that they went from the general debate, Gold, like where everybody's sitting around having the conversation, to an owners-only one. And Jeffrey Lurie must have flexed in that room a little bit and be like, listen.
The Eagles' social media team.
Do I have power in this room or not?
The Eagles' social media team already had a graphic ready. It said "push on" with the Eagles logo, and it had the Packers on defense.
Oh my God! I had the Packers on defense.
Remember, the Packers are who proposed.
Dang. Okay. Taking a shot at
Yeah, it's 2 minutes ago on the Eagles' social media account. Push on with the Eagles logo, and it's a view from the defender's point of view, looking towards the Packers and the line of scrimmage.
Again, I don't understand.
So they didn't. By the way, that is a stunner.
Everyone was talking like it was done.
Diana Rossini earlier today said, despite the work from the Eagles, that this thing wasn't going to pass, or this thing wasn't going to stay alive. Here's the details on teams. I don't know the specific teams. Rossini says 10 teams voted against the proposal to ban. That's why they didn't have enough.
2 votes short.
You needed 75% support.
24.
Yeah, you need 75% of the support of NFL owners to pass, and so 10 teams. I would love to know the 10 that.
Eagles won.
Obviously. Who else did they have alliance with?
It well?
Who else? The Bills probably.
Bills.
But wasn't Sean McDermott out here acting like he didn't think the play should be? But they were doing it as well.
Are we ever going to know the teams that Didn't
I imagine
it'll
there'll be some
leak out.
reporting on that, sure.
There's always somebody that'll leak it out. But this is a big stunner, though. I mean, everything was trending towards it. Much like the playoff reseeding, it doesn't mean it's dead forever. Like next summer, it can get brought back up. But clearly, I think
the overtime playoff rule got changed in a year after it failed.
There might have been some owners that were hesitant. They felt like it was targeting one particular team with a rule and punishing one particular team.
Okay, the same thing applies to the Chiefs as I would say any team. And I know they will do it with Mahomes, but just in general. Now you should be focusing on perfecting it. You should be because it is an effective play. Nobody's ever argued that. This is your moment, if you're an NFL franchise, to move forward trying to be good at it. I mean, I don't understand the idea that you wouldn't try to be as good at it or close to as good at it as they are. It doesn't make sense to me that all these teams haven't pushed or tried to figure it out. At the same time, I guess I just kind of assumed it was going to fail, man. I thought the tush push was going to die, Gold. Guess not.
If teams
stuck with it forever.
If teams go ahead and actually try to work on it, though, Cody, are you kind of succumbing to this play's just going to stick around and it's never going away? Like if you try to make it work, then I think the ultimate consensus could be, well, people are adopting the idea of it, so why would we vote it away?
I think the fact the Eagles just won the Super Bowl hurt its case of getting banned. What I mean, because then it seems like you're truly just punishing the team that just if you're a year or two removed from a title, I think it's easier to ban this. I think this is there's some teams maybe had issue with it directly targeting a team. This is now another rule emphasis, though, that reportedly, and this is from Jordan Schultz, that Roger Goodell wanted. Roger Goodell reportedly wanted to ban this. He was a strong proponent of banning it. And usually when he does that, it happens. He was a proponent of the playoff.
They're going to give him a contract.
He was the proponent of the reseeding. That got tabled. This one got tabled as well. They didn't have the votes to ban it, basically. It essentially got, I guess it did not make it through. So I'm just surprised that ended up happening. So 10 teams did not vote in favor of the tush push. That's why the tush push lives on for another year. Binks already texted me. He says he thinks the Chiefs maybe voted no because the Chiefs like having their offensive lineman down the field like Trey Smith pushing as well. So that's been Binks' big thing all week.
Don't know.
Maybe he's right on the Chiefs voting no on it. I just told you how I feel about the play. I think it's a boring ass play. Not everybody's going to agree with me on that. I don't think they should ban it because of safety. I don't think we know it's a safety thing.
No.
But I think it is for a league that is all about entertainment dollars and ratings and doesn't care really what at times fans want because someone's going to write them a check. I think from a viewership standpoint, 3rd and 1, 4th and 2, 4th and 1, when the Eagles are on the field, you know you're about to have a boring-ass play that's a rugby play, and you can't even see where the ball carrier is anyway. It sucks. It's a crappy play. So that's just where I'm at. The Eagles could be doing it. The Bills could be doing it, and they do, by the way.
We were talking about it before they beat them in the Super Bowl, so I think we have a little bit of clout to not think. And I'll just be honest. It had nothing to do with the result in the Super Bowl.
Sure.
Chiefs are getting their ass kicked in that game.
The tush push wasn't even in play at all. It didn't even matter.
No, they didn't need it.
Yeah.
They're just getting first downs on every second down play. It didn't matter. And it didn't change the calculus or the math or anything outside of that. So yeah, I don't fear it, I guess, in that way or get overly concerned based on that way. But I am surprised. I think Jeffrey Lurie must have had some clout in that room because the second they just went down to the owner's gold, nobody else around, nobody other people clawing at it.
What did Jason Kelsey say?
Nobody else making an argument, and instead, Lurie sitting in the room with just the owners, him and the other 31 people who represent these teams. He's like, hey, you're picking on us for no reason. We're just better at it than you. What are you doing?
Someone says you should ban the fullback dive if you don't like boring plays. Well, we can play this game all day long. One, I would say, how many teams are running fullback dives?
If they could ban any
how
play,
often do you see it?
It'd be the fade. You know, if I got to ban any play.
Yeah. Also, I would argue the fullback dive is a more exciting play than the tush push as well. If we're going to be real specific. But how many times was a fullback dive ran in 2024? I don't have the numbers in front of me. My guess is not very often.
Probably less than 25 times. Maybe
less than the tush push. Less than the tush push. across the league. Some teams don't have fullbacks on their roster. That's how I know.
Only like a third of the teams have fullbacks.
Well, yeah, because they're playing defensive linemen at fullback.
They
you
pretty
know?
much
right.
banned it on purpose. Like without even trying, they banned the fullback dive.
So if you're keeping track today, playoff reseeding not happening this year. Tush push ban not happening this year.
We got 1 yard closer on the onside
One thing
kick.
changed with the onside kick. Yeah, and specifically the onside kick for this upcoming season. They're trying to bring that play back, right? Because it's nearly impossible at this point in time. Not that it should be a high percentage, but they passed a rule that will allow teams to declare onside kicks at any point during a game. Remember before, you still have to be trailing though, but you don't have to wait till the fourth quarter, and they'll kick from the 34 instead of the 35. That's the only rule change that passed today.
Okay, I mean, so nothing. The sport's the same. Got it. Other than maybe we have a 3% better chance of onside kick. My hope with this is it's like the kickoffs Gold. And then if they keep trying these onside kick things to make it matter and realize it's useless and meaningless, they'll eventually give us what we really want, which is the 4th and 15 or 4th and 20 option, or one of the choices that actually make it slightly plausible to actually get the ball.
Yeah. Someone says from the 913. By the way, you guys can text in the show. We're on remote today, but we still have the text line available. 913-586-7965. That's the J Southland Tow Service text line. We always appreciate the interaction. Somebody says banning anything for entertainment value is the worst slope to get on. The absolute worst. It can be a dangerous slope. I hear you. I hear the argument against it. I would say though that the league has done it before. You think that defensive holding or pass interference or roughing the passer or not roughing that's banning something because they think it may prevent either its safety or entertainment value related. I mean, it happens. They'll claim some stuff is safety, but sometimes it's entertainment. They made rules that benefited the offense for years, for 15, 20 years. So I would argue that they have banned things for entertainment value, as in more offense, more scoring. Acting like they have never done it in the league, that would be, I think, inaccurate. I understand there's a slippery slope, but they have made plenty of rule changes tougher on the defense for entertainment reasons, as in more points.
We'll see if any of the other teams come out. Adam Schefter already reporting. Here's some of the teams that sided with the Eagles. Ravens, Patriots, Jets, and Lions so far.
So far, okay.
So okay. Lions, and they're, another NFC
Dan
team.
Campbell, old school football guy.
Campbell,
He likes him some
old
rugby.
school.
Yeah, that's what it is.
What are they thinking, Justin
I know
Fields?
the owners are the ones voting, not the coach, but you get my point.
Well, but I'm sure
they're voting on behalf of their coach. What's that, Drew?
If you think the Jets, Justin Fields, potentially tush push, for
True.
For
I like
Fields.
it's the old school guys so far. Harbaugh, Vrabel, Campbell. Who's the Jets head coach?
Aaron Glenn.
Aaron Glenn feels old school.
Oh, man, nothing but old school guys so far.
Andy gave the very politically correct, answer a couple months ago, I think, when he was asked about the tush push. I'll have to see if I pull up the quote again. He was trying to kind of play both sides of it. This was from March. Let me see if I can get the exact quote from Andy. This was March 13th. Let's see here. Let's see. He quotes, "Yeah, I don't know how you can argue it either way. I felt like it's a successful play. If there's a problem with possible injury, you've got to look at it. So I would listen probably to the medical people on it, see what they think about the body mechanics. You don't want to go through something like Buffalo went through. If it's a neck situation, it's going to be a risk. I think you have to listen to the whole story." That was Andy Reid on the tush push ban at the time. He also said, quote, "I would say if it's putting a player in a bad position, then you probably have to do something about it. But if it's not, it's a heck of a play." And
Here's
I think that's where a lot of teams sided.
This is where it could eventually go away. If even one single report, when they eventually have all the data on this Gold, if even one single report comes back and it says this is a potentially dangerous play to the head and neck area of the quarterback, then it's done. It's done. The NFL will get everyone on board and they'll ban the damn thing. But with no evidence to support it, you're just getting rid of it because you just don't like it. And you can't even go to your point. I think there's been things that they have changed that are for glamour reasons, right? Not for safety reasons. But the one difference is, Gold, is that you and I both know that they always hide behind safety reasons. They hide behind that as this tool to change the rules the way that they want so it doesn't feel like it's fairness or safety. Those are really the only reasons why they tend to change the rules out loud. They don't just say, we don't like the way this play looks. They don't say it like that, even though you and I both know that they're doing it for those reasons. So until they get the data, they can't even hide behind the safety part. That's part of the problem, Gold, is that they got to pretend they need a little data in order to support it, at least to pretend before they get rid of it. But we'll see, maybe in a couple of years. But it's not going to be this year. The tush push lives on, man. it lives on. They catch any more of those criminals out of New Orleans?
I haven't seen an
think
update.
There was another one last night that got caught, I believe.
Another one last night?
I think so. I don't know how many that leaves us.
5 fugitives on the run still. Yeah.
Okay, so 4 more got caught.
5th inmate was recaptured. So,
how'd they
let's
get
see.
recaptured?
5th inmate was recaptured following a breakout, of course, of the jail. 19-year-old was arrested Tuesday after the breakout has left. Where does it say he was caught? Do we know?
I saw somebody I think got caught on the bench, laying on a bench on like a bus stop bench.
Dang. Just trying to take a nap? I mean, he's a escaped felon, but, you know. Now I'm looking. I don't know. It doesn't say. Is that what you saw? Drew, you already knew someone who got caught last night, so you must be right.
I think I saw it went down from 6 to 5. I think it was last night I saw it. Or it was yesterday that I
Yeah, 5
saw
are
it.
still on the run.
6-day overall. All right. Well, I guess we'll just have to keep an eye out. All these guys slowly getting
I still
caught.
think by this time next week there'll be
We'll have them all?
or one left. Yeah. 5th one was caught at his grandma's house in New Orleans.
Okay, that was not the.
I
bad
mean,
person.
you know that they were going to look at your grandma's house. You can't go to anyone you know that well. That's the problem, though, is that your grandma might be the only person to let you in the door, right? Gold, you're not letting, if a buddy of yours at the neighborhood bar you go to goes to jail, escapes, you're not letting him kick it at your crib.
Absolutely not.
No, because then you're
Absolutely not.
You're an
Absolutely
accomplice.
not. Yeah, you're going to prison too.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
You're not doing that. That's just not worth the
Someone
risk.
says another one got caught. Cody sounded so disappointed. You did sound like, oh no.
I don't want anyone to get hurt. I just,
Well, fortunately,
The injury.
there hasn't been a dangerous situation when they've arrested these folks. So yeah.
far.
So
Yeah,
so
let's
far,
hope.
5 left. Long Memorial Day weekend coming up.
Mr. Beast gives you like $500,000 if you're the last one standing somehow is what he's going to
Don't
offer.
think that's how this works.
No? You don't think so?
I don't think that's how this works.
What? That's essentially what his shtick is.
Up next.
Yeah, I know.
Up next, I want to get to thinking of criminals. A stat Cody called criminal. We ran out of time. We had some breaking news happen during this segment, so we'll get to that. And is there a team just going to run away with the American League Central? We'll get back into that coming up next right here on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold.
You will not decorate my balls, period. I will decorate my balls.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5, The Fan.
Look, maybe you've been working at a prison facility. Maybe you've been working outside. It's getting ready to be hot in Kansas City. All of those things can be a great reason to look at a new career, and IT is the future of Kansas City. Why not make it your future?
Yeah, as little as 4 months, you can find a brand new career path. And I understand that you got a job right now. You're like, I can't afford to not work while I'm paying for my future education. Well, that's why they have flexible scheduling. You don't have to be on campus. You can do flex scheduling. There's online classes as well. And think about it. Tech jobs are literally available in every single industry. Just think about some of the top companies that come to mind in Kansas City or across the country. All of them have jobs in IT available.
When you look at that, go to our guy, Russ. He'll take care of you. He's been there with Centric for 16 years. And find that career in IT that could change your future. That's Centric.com.
Gear? Check. Snacks? Check. Tires? Not so much. I didn't have time to deal with this, so I asked my friend. Her answer was simple. Take it to Telly, she said, and I'm so glad I did. They didn't just take care of my tires, they took care of me. We got you, they said, and they did. Fast, friendly, and stress-free. Now I know when life throws you a red card, take it to Telly. Stay in the game. Take it to Telly.
Call Aspen Lawn and Pest Control. Our iconic blue trucks and expert team get it right the first time. Award-winning full-service lawn care and pest control since 1985. Call today for a free estimate. Visit aspenlawn.com. Reiselman Nissan, the king of midsize SUVs, has the ride you've been waiting for. Shop the best selection of Rogues and Kicks in Kansas City with payments starting at just $3.99 a month. Plus, every day, Reiselman salutes our first responders and heroes with special discounts. With over 160 new Nissans on the lot, your perfect ride is waiting. Visit ReiselmanNissan.com today and experience royal treatment at Reiselman Nissan. Every customer, every time. Reiselman Nissan. Not all vehicles may apply. See dealer or check ReiselmanNissan.com for all details.
Hi, Mia here at the winnings desk of the Missouri Lottery.
So, I wanted to write a thank you note for every dollar Missouri lottery players have given to Missouri and education, but that would be 8.4 billion notes. So to save a little time and a whole lot of paper, here's just one. Dear every single lottery player in Missouri, thank you for helping us give $8.4 billion to Missouri and education. Sorry, my trumpet's in the shop. The Missouri Lottery. Winners welcome and play responsibly.
Memorial Day's here at Hy-Vee's, my one-stop shop for everything for our celebrations. I love heading straight to the meat department for grilling favorites like prime reserve beef and Hy-Vee's famous specialty brats like pineapple or cheddar. And spend more time celebrating and less time prepping with Hy-Vee's full-service catering and ready-to-go meals, including ribs, barbecue chicken, pork, and so many different party trays. And don't forget the adult beverages. Hy-Vee has a huge selection of seltzers, wines, beer, and spirits, all for Memorial Day, only at Hy-Vee.
Let the summer fun begin this week at Hy-Vee. Just 5 days to save big on everything you need for the perfect Memorial Day. Load up the grill with tender Hy-Vee pork ribs, just $2.97 a pound. Throw on some Oscar Mayer hot dogs for the kids, just $1.77. Add party-size Frito-Lay chips, $3.99. Ice-cold Pepsi 6-packs, $2.99. And get the party started. Stock up on all your summertime favorites this Wednesday through Sunday only at Hy-Vee.
The semifinals are here. That means all the show-stopping action is turning up a notch. Don't miss your chance to bet on all the legendary moments with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel's the best place to find all your favorite player props, and now you can make the smarter play with new performance trends. Want to see if a guy is hitting that over consistently, or maybe they've been flirting with a potential triple-double. Get the latest stats right inside the app and see who's heating up. And once the game starts, that's when things get interesting. You can combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. If you don't already have FanDuel, it's not too late to get in on the action. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. So visit FanDuel.com/Alex to join today. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and President, Kansas. First on real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bet, which expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Honey, it's me, your wife. Spring is here, and our house desperately needs the experts at Powell Exteriors Casey for siding, windows, entry doors, beautiful decks, patio covers, roofs, and more. Get ready for summer at powellkc.com.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Your life, your goals, your legacy. With a dedicated Fidelity advisor, it's all part of a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Visit fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE, SIPC.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You could think you found your dream home online, but here's the twist. The lot next door just got rezoned for years of construction. Work with the expertise and ethical training of a Realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors, right by you.
This afternoon, expect mostly sunny skies with a high of 72.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Your local Staples store has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. Save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
Hang out with Cody and Gold. Weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
All right, 11 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp with you. Drew Nixon back in the studio producing the show. We are up in Briarcliff broadcasting for the next couple of hours till 1:30 before we hand things off to Vern for his On Deck show. The reason why we're up here, we're at the beautiful location of Heartland Men's Health, one of 3 area clinics, Independence, Overland Park as well. And since April of 2023, they've successfully treated thousands of men across their 3 locations. They're the leading provider of men's sexual health treatments throughout the greater Kansas City area. And we've told you, as we've been up here a few times now, ED is more common than most people realize. In fact, many men will actually face erectile dysfunction at some point in their lives, while some experience it for years. Studies indicated that nearly 50% of men over the age of 50 in the United States are affected by this condition. If you've noticed something's just not right, give them a call, schedule that appointment. You're not going to have to sit in a waiting room and be awkward for like a half hour or anything. No, you're going to get in immediately, so you're not sitting out there. It's very discreet. It's a clean, professional environment here. You don't wait around. Take that first step. Give them a call, 844-447-6600, 844-447-6600, or visit heartlandmenshealth.com to schedule your appointment, again, at any one of the 3 area locations.
All right, I told you I think something is going on with the Chiefs is criminal, and I stand by that.
Okay.
I saw this stat yesterday from Josh Norris. 70.2% of Xavier Worthy's targets last season traveled 9 yards or fewer downfield. And I guess...
Doesn't that speak to the whole offense last year?
But what's the point of drafting a guy with 4.21 speed if your plan is to throw him the ball 4 yards away? You're not taking advantage of his speed. And for years, I don't know, like, maybe it is the offensive line, admittedly. And we can talk more about the offensive line here in a little bit. Maybe it is. Maybe that's part of the issue. But I think part of the issue is that Andy Reid has seen some success in this dink and dunk short game, you know, trying to almost be like the Sean Payton, Drew Brees offense. I'm like, you got Patrick Mahomes, and you took a guy with 4.21 speed in Xavier Worthy. You have downfield threats. It is time to take some chances. Getting Xavier Worthy and then just giving him the ball 5 yards from the line of scrimmage is a waste in a lot of circumstances. And when I watch that, my initial instinct is push the ball downfield and see if maybe it goes a different direction. I feel like some of it is offensive line, but some of it is they've settled into it doesn't stop them from winning. It goes back to like the Andy Reid aggressiveness part, where it doesn't stop them from winning. So like, why do I feel this need to like try to push it with Xavier Worthy or try to push the ball down the field? And you're like, this team needs it. The offense has got to carry this team at some point again.
I think a couple things, though, with Worthy in particular, that stat, that percentage and the yardage. Let's not forget, for the first, let's estimate 8 weeks-ish of the season, there was a clear disconnect on both Mahomes and Worthy's part. Mahomes, whether it's trust, I don't know, but Worthy would not have great spatial awareness, basically, on the field. He would be out of bounds. The foot would be out. He'd run too close to the sidelines. So there was that issue too.
Targets. I mean, they still count towards targets, even if you stand on the sideline.
Sure, but like but at some point, you know, you
can't
lose
keep throwing it down
you
there.
lose
Yeah,
trust.
right.
You lose trust. I think that was part of it. The question we're going to get an answer to this year is when all 3 are on the field: Brown, Rice, Worthy. When defenses have to account for all 3, and this is what the Chiefs are at least banking on. We're going to find out if it works. That's why they weren't going out and signing big-time free agent wide receiver. They didn't spend a first-round pick on it or second-round pick on a wide receiver. They're banking that they had the right personnel at wide receiver. They just weren't all on the field at the same time for health reasons. And some of these guys, of course, have a track record of not staying on the field anyway. So that's the gamble that they are taking. But I think absolutely, as we saw in the Super Bowl late, I understand garbage time, you saw the potential of his skill set. While it was garbage time, the Eagles did not have like their third stringers in. There was still starters in, but it was just there wasn't the pressure in that moment. My point is that was a glimpse on Xavier Worthy down the field threat, what he could be this year. But I do think we have to recognize the first 2-3 months of the season last year, the deep shots just were not working even when Worthy got open. And it was both Mahomes and Worthy's issue. I think a lot of it was Worthy being a rookie and just having no real field awareness.
I give Andy a lot of credit for adjusting in his NFL career, why the hell hasn't he adjusted off of this short passing game stuff that isn't working? The hitch routes to Travis Kelce, the swing plays, the end arounds. Like, I don't care which one it is. I've got 2 straight years of evidence, Gold, that it ain't there. It isn't going to work. And the only way it is going to work, Gold, is if exactly what I'm talking about. The ball goes down the field so that you actually can hand it off to someone 2 yards away from you and have a little space to operate. It is time to adjust off of this short yardage package game stuff that I would argue has not been successful for 2 consecutive years and has consistently been setting them back.
Yeah, I mean, I think they would like to do what you're saying. I think some of it is they just have not been capable of doing it for a variety of reasons. Some of what
I'm not saying it's never worked. Some of
what we just mentioned with Worthy in the beginning of the season, not having guys consistently get open, and then it goes back to the left tackle problem. And not consistently feeling comfortable in your tackles and trusting your tackles and being able to hold on the ball long enough for that to develop down the field. So there's not one simple answer to the question. I think we all have recognized the issues with the big play threats not being there, and that was the whole thing with the Super Bowl. Everybody wants to talk about the Super Bowl and say it was just the offensive line problem. Guys weren't nobody was getting open in that game either.
Nope.
It was not just that, hey, the left side of the offensive line was leaking oil, to say the least. But there was not individuals like Brown or Kelce or Worthy getting open in that football game. So, yeah, some of it is not enough time. Some of it's scheme. Like, there's not one simple answer. We all, I think, acknowledged right after the Super Bowl, where was the coaching adjustment? So it's everybody has been to blame for that.
I'm saying you might need a scheme adjustment unless you're going to get the ball down the field. All that other stuff Andy likes to do that has worked previously in the NFL doesn't work unless you were actually a threat somewhere. And, like, how do you have this guy? How's he not one of the threats?
Yeah, I mean, to say it didn't work. Like, again, they're judged on a different scale because
offensively, I'm not saying from a winning.
Yeah, they're judged on a different scale because they obviously have won as much as they have. But I would say, like, let's not act like they're 20th best offense in football or something like that. The question is, how do they get from 12th, 13th back to 5th? That's the leap, and the only way you see that leap is if obviously there's some explosive plays down the field. But acting like Patrick Mahomes doesn't want to throw the ball down the field is a bunch. I know you're not saying that, but that'd be a bunch of crap, right? Like, obviously he and they as a staff want to get the ball down the field. I only thing I push back on is this idea of, like, it hasn't worked. Well, it can always improve. It can get better. Yeah, it hasn't worked. I mean, they've won 3 Super Bowls in 5 years, and out of those 3 titles, it wasn't like the offense was connecting down the field left and right every single time. Remember, Tyreek Hill was only here for one of those rings.
Yeah, the last 2 years is where my issue has been in the design. And to a point of, like, is it holding them back? No, because you have one of the league's best defenses, so you get to go to the Super Bowl both years and outside of that. But I would say any offense with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes that for the last 2 years ranks 14th I'd be looking myself in the mirror very seriously. Because, yeah, their standard is not you went from 25th to 21st. You got Patrick Mahomes. You got to be better than that. You're only judged, in my opinion, on where you rank in the top 15. I don't even care what anybody after 15 does. I don't care about 16 through 32. They don't matter for this conversation. In the last 2 years, I don't feel like your offense has worked the way it should, because you are one of the worst teams out of any of the teams you should be ranked amongst. Not the doldrums of the league, where you were certainly better than, especially going back to, like, where the offensive line was. The interior of the offensive line certainly is not some wretched disaster point that's causing an issue. And so that part of it, I'm really looking forward to, and I know that they care. I'm not saying Gold. It's not even that.
I mean, look at training camp.
They try to get the ball downfield. They had wide receiver injuries last year. I'm just tired of the hitches, swing routes, end arounds, and none of that stuff works unless you push the ball down the field. I'm not against it in general. I'm against it currently.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I think that was part of their plan, and we saw it in training camp. How many times will we be doing shows up there last year, and then we'll be up there here before we know it, and Worthy in particular, but also Rashee Rice, it was nothing but shots down the field, nothing but that. And then early in the year, Worthy was still a rookie, and then Rashee Rice got hurt, 3/4 of the way through quarter of the way into the Week 4 game, I guess it was, against the Chargers. And then at that point in time, Worthy had to become more of an underneath guy. Travis Kelce was asked to be the focus of the offense again. That was never, and this is where we're going to all find out if it pans out, but I think last year went in with Rice being the focal point of the offense, and he got hurt, and so it changed everything. So this year you go in with the same personnel at wide receiver / tight end, and if they're on the field together, they're banking on they had the right personnel. They just did not have them available, and so that changed the entire scheme, and teams could play them differently. So go ahead, Drew.
I was going to say it definitely feels more schematic because I think consensus-wise, we would say I'll use the Houston Texans as the example here because I looked some stuff up. Houston Texans offensive line, I think we would all say struggled last year. They were not very good.
Yeah.
They averaged 8.1 in-air yards per attempt. The Chiefs were dead last in the league at 6.2. In terms of total in-air yards, the Texans were 4th in the league with a bad offensive line in-air yards. The Chiefs were in the bottom 5. So I think it's more of a schematic thing where Rashee Rice is the focal point of the offense, but Rashee Rice is that guy that's the possession wide receiver. He's not running deep down the field often anyway. So their focal point being Rashee, I feel like, and Travis Kelce, they're limiting themselves in terms of depth per target because of the focal point. They're going to run through the guys that
you go 8 yards down the field instead of 4.
No, but I'd push back though and say I don't think, other than maybe when you had Tyreek Hill, I don't think if we're talking about the focal point of an offense, I don't think anybody's focal point is 50 yards down the field. That's not. You don't build you don't build your offense off of just taking shots 30 yards down the field. You have to have the ability to consistently have mesh routes or whatever it may be. And Rice is more of a possession type receiver anyway. So I get what you're saying, Drew. I think a lot of it though, heading into this year, Rashee Rice should be the focal point of the offense again.
Agreed.
He absolutely should be. That doesn't mean that they're not trying to get opportunities down the field. I think the key is he's the focus of the offense, and that should open things up for Worthy down the field. And last year they just didn't have that because obvious reasons. Rice was no longer available, and then they were asking Kelce to do that, and it was not the same player in that role that he had been before. And then you were still talking about a rookie and Worthy being asked to do that. We all know Hollywood Brown was already out for the season. So I want to see what it looks like when Rice, Worthy, and Brown with Kelce are all available and see if their actual plan – I don't think we ever got to see their actual plan.
No, that's fair. Yeah, we didn't. I mean, I can't really make an argument for we didn't get to see it because at this point, no, there's no indication of it. We were watching the Royals game last night on the West Coast, and I guess I've been scoreboard watching a little bit, even though I know it's early for that.
Already?
We're quickly approaching a third way through the season.
You're already checking in on the Tigers scores every night?
Yeah, not every night, but I'm not saying I don't check in.
Okay.
Again, we are. How many games have the Royals played? 50?
51, or going into 51, I guess.
So they're going into 51 tonight. They played 50. We're a third of the way through the season, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not setting up score alerts for the Tigers, Twins, and Guardians yet. It's a little early.
I don't know that I've ever done that. 54, as we know, is the third way through. So we're only 4 games away from being a third of the way through the Major League Baseball season. I guess I started to wonder as I was looking at these teams: are the Tigers going to run away with the division? Is it too early to say that? Because now, here's part of the problem I'm having with not talking myself into that. Tigers have the best record in the American League. The Tigers have scored. They have pitched. They got a Cy Young candidate guy. I understand they got some things going their way that you're like...
Javier Baez.
Yeah, Javier Baez is probably the obvious answer of can that continue forever? Or at some point, does regression to the mean find Javi Baez? But I'm kind of factoring in what the run they went on last year was. And that might be more indicative of who they really are, Gold. This is a team that can score and pitch with as any team in the American League, which means they can do a lot more than anyone else in the division. The Twins, Guardians, and Royals are within a half a game of each other. And I feel like they're going to get stuck in the wash. And my fear is that you almost already can see the writing on the wall that the Tigers might run away with it. The only thing that gives me pause is that the Royals and a number of other teams in the division still have a lot of games left against them. Royals play the Tigers 9 more times, so they still completely control their own fate in that department.
Yeah, I think it's too early to suggest somebody's going to run away with the division. Because on the flip side, if I told you the Royals were in the exact same spot the Tigers were, I don't think you would confidently be thinking the Royals were going to run away with the division. I think, while yes, it's game 51 this afternoon against the Giants, and we get into, hey, it's almost Memorial Day, it's no longer early. I'm with you there. But there is just way too much baseball to be played to suggest that somebody in a crowded – because here's the reason why I think you don't run away with it. It's not just a Royals and Tigers race. The Tigers are also still – they're trying to deal with the Royals and the Twins and the Guardians. The fact that everybody except for the White Sox are good is why I don't think anybody's running away with it. If it was a 2-horse race and then there was a huge drop-off after after the Royals and Tigers, and like the Twins stunk or the Guardians stunk, and the White Sox were what they are, which is trash, then I would be with you. But because you have 4 teams in this division that are all winning baseball teams this year, and on potentially playoff teams this year,
right now,
that's why no, I don't think they're running with it. The Tigers look dangerous though. Oh man, do they ever? What they were doing in August and September last year, they have just rolled right in to the 2025 season, and some things are going to be there all year for them. Skubal he's legit. Like nobody, what he's doing that's going to be. Javier Baez having a career resurgence. Not as sold that's going to happen all year. We'll see. But they got some good – look, they had a great farm system, and it's paying off for them now all of a sudden. I think they have a great manager as well in A.J. Hinch. Jackson Jobe, the young pitcher as well, he looks legit. Like, you just keep going through it. And how aggressive are they going to be at the trade deadline? That's going to be the biggest swing in this whole thing. We can talk about how bunched together these teams are. If anybody were to run away with it, I don't think it's possible. But it would be if 3 of the teams just decide to stand pat, and only one, in this case the Tigers, go out and they try to get a bat. They try to get another bullpen arm. Or is it going to be the Royals that are aggressive and try to get a bat or two? But as we talked with J.J. Piccolo yesterday, we're a ways off from any team being able to pull off trades like that. It is yes, a third of the way through the season just about. But because of the expanded playoffs that we all know exist now over the last couple of years, unless you're the White Sox or the Rockies, maybe the Pirates, everybody else thinks they're still in it.
Orioles still think they're in it. They're 15-32 and just fire their manager.
They fire their manager because
that might be the only other one.
That might be it. But even then, other than that, nobody else wants to be sellers yet because they still think they're in it. You mentioned the schedule stuff. You're wondering, just updated strength of schedule. The Royals have the 4th toughest schedule remaining in all baseball. Based off of strength of schedule. They do have the Tigers 9 more times, Cody. They still have the Dodgers 3, the Yankees 3, Mets 3, Cubs 3. In the easiest opponents, they do have the White Sox 9 more times.
Huzzah!
They have the Marlins 3, Nationals a couple times. But the problem is the Tigers actually have the 5th easiest schedule the rest of the way. They have 10 against the White Sox, 3 against those Orioles, 6 against those Pirates.
Royals already beat the Orioles. That's part of the reason they got in there. And I think the Royals have been – a lot of what's happening this year was last year, right? Where they're winning the first they're winning a game in the series, and then it always comes down to the rubber match, right? Like they got the first game against the Astros, then it was the rubber match. Mm-hmm. And they got the first game against the Giants, and now it's coming down to the rubber match. And then, of course, they'll head to Minnesota this weekend, where they've been very, very, very good at home. After they get through this game, really interesting stretch to find out where the Royals are. Because you get on the road at Minnesota. Then you take your little brief reprieve against the Cincinnati Reds, who I think are okay. I don't know their exact record. They're not the Rockies, I guess. And then they get the Tigers, and then the following week they get the Yankees. And so the Cardinals,
Reds are 500.
Okay, the Cardinals again, and some of these others. Like they got 2 kind of like mediocre teams, a bad team in the White Sox, a mediocre team in the Reds. But then between that, the Tigers, the Cardinals, the Twins, and the Yankees. Teams you're competing on either the wild card spot, the Division 4, or are just really good baseball teams. By the time we get through again mid-June, we'll be right back in this same boat of where is this team? And you and I said before, when Lugo and Reagan's out, I would like the offense to step up on one of these games. And, of course, last night was not the game for that, where they, again, only managed 2 runs.
All right,
they
Drew.
got 4 runs in 2 games and have one at least.
Yeah. All right, Drew, let's get to it.
Trash of the day.
You guys remember on Monday we had the story of the birds in the building. Now, we are not in the studio today. We are out at Heartland Men's Health Clinic up in Briarcliff. But on Monday we had 2 birds in the building. 1 survived, 1 passed away. Then we had the story at a batting practice before an MLB game on Monday afternoon where a pigeon was killed by a line drive. I have more bird news for you, Cody. This one takes us over to Japan. There's a worldwide problem with racing pigeon heists.
What?
Racing pigeon heists.
Okay.
In Japan, they're investigating the theft of about 70 racing pigeons from a 73-year-old man's home last week. The pigeon's worth around $13,000.
What?
$13,000.
These pigeons are worth $13,000?
They were taken.
Am I in the wrong business?
They were taken from a
racing
shed
pigeons?
between 6 and 10 p.m. The thief broke a lock to get in. The man who raises pigeons as a hobby was upset to find them gone. These birds are special because they're trained to race, and then they return home. Police think someone who knows about pigeons might be involved since the theft was planned. He's racing. They're trained
you have
to
to know
race.
something about pigeons if
and
you're stealing them.
They fly right back home, man.
Because no one else is stealing a pigeon and being like, I hope these pigeons are valuable. The street rats? I don't think so, man. Just air rats flying around? Gold, you and I are not thinking. I'd have been stunned if you had told me.
Pigeon racing.
Cody, let's get into this pigeon racing thing. You'd be like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm like, these pigeons are worth $13,000.
Yeah.
We've talked about all kind. We've talked about
Cody
virtual horses on this show. We've talked about starting a pizza place. There's lots of ways we've talked about making money on this show. Not once has anyone suggested pigeon racing. So I gotta feel like you're in the game.
Guys, I just looked up a video. It's pretty interesting.
The races can vary in distance from around 62 miles to 620 miles. Yeah. The winner is determined by the speed of the pigeon, calculated by dividing the distance flown by the time taken, obviously. The racing homer is a breed of pigeon specifically bred for the sport. Stamina, speed, and homing instinct. They're trained to return to their home when released at various distances. Now, the training could go bad, though, right? Like, early on, you're like, I guess I didn't train this one right. Never flew back home. 660 miles, it could take a while for you to know if you actually train this bad boy.
What's going on with some of you? I'm watching a story on this right now. We're talking about it. And this one said, one pigeon sold for $1.4 million. You're like,
that must be a pretty good pigeon.
You're telling me there's a $1.5 million pigeon out there? For what? What do you get for winning this?
It's the best racer. They've got basically secretariat of the pigeon world.
It sounds like.
No kidding.
Do they stud out pigeons? Does it work the same way?
I would guess so. How else? How are you going to get your $1.4 million worth? How many races are you putting him in? How many races could he possibly win to get $1.5 million worth of value unless he's a stud pigeon?
Yeah, like is it the same concept as the horse that wins the Kentucky Derby or a Triple Crown, and like you get studded out, and then you find out at the Derby like all the horses had some lineage to Secretariat this past year or whatever that story was? Is that the same with the pigeons? Who's the Cody? Can you look up the most famous racing pigeon? Is there a famous racing pigeon?
Best racing pigeon of all time is what I'm going to search. And just see if he's the Patrick Mahomes of pigeons.
That's right.
Oh,
here we go.
Famous pigeons.
Here it is.
G.I. Joe.
Dream Boy, Eurostar, and the Duke.
Commando, Patty. These are some of the ones that are showing up for me.
PigeonInsider.com. Who knew?
PigeonInsider.com.
Pigeon racing pigeon.
Well, these are war pigeons. I'm sorry.
I'm seeing.
I was looking up hero pigeons. Apparently.
Yeah, those are some like those. Yeah, not the war pigeons. No. I'm talking about the racing.
I learned about the Dickin medal, which is for the best war hero.
Okay.
Why are you giving a pigeon a medal? It does not care.
Oh, why does? Well, why?
We don't give horses medals either.
No, but they get the giant. They get the rose. What do you call it? Wreath thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, what were you saying, Drew?
So there's a pigeon named New Kim that sold for $1.9 million at an auction in Belgium, demonstrating the high value placed on champion pigeons. There's also one called the King of Rome, which apparently inspired a song in a children's book in England.
Immediately, I think that this is Immediately, my instinct is this is money laundering for a drug cartel. And that this is like going to be season when they bring back Ozark. This is what Marty's going to be working on for the next cartel.
Yeah.
He's going to be buying racing pigeons in order to funnel their money.
Someone says that's 130 yen, not 130. Or that's not $13,000. That's not what the article says. It literally has a United States dollar sign next to it. So I'm gonna go with the story. I obviously cannot verify, but the article 1,000% has a United States dollar sign next to it, as in $13,000. But I don't know. That is the trash of the day. Up next, we'll get to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. One thing that we've now started to realize about running backs in the NFL even more, and one stat that tells us about left tackles moving forward in the Chiefs organization.
Watch Cody and Gold on YouTube by subscribing to the 96.5 YouTube channel. Cody and Gold is brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
You all know on the show, I've spent a lot of time talking about my decks. Let me tell you the best place to get a deck in Kansas City. That's All Weather Decks. You can check them out at allweatherdecks.net or give them a call, 913-206-1974. You can have them take a look at a free estimate. Build that dream deck for you. I know that you've been thinking about it. Summer's around the corner. You're sick of looking yours getting all beat up, wearing down, deciding what to do with it next. All Weather Decks can make those decisions easy. They're an award-winning deck building company, a Kansas City deck builder that you can trust. Locally operated, locally owned, all the things I love working with. So whether it's a wood deck, composite, cover deck, or patio, they can take care of any project that you might need. Check them out at allweatherdecks.net or again, give them a call, 913-206-1974.
Jefferson's has a brand new happy hour designed to save you money. Enjoy half off appetizers and half off your bar tab. 7 days a week at Jefferson's Lenexa and Jefferson's North Kansas City. Yeah, you heard that right. Half off your bar tab during happy hour at both locations. And it gets even better. Mondays are all day happy hour. Plus, they've got reverse happy hour every night. Whether you're catching the game or just kicking back with family and friends, Jefferson's in Lenexa and North Kansas City is the place to be. Proudly local and always delicious. Jefferson's. Wings, burgers, oysters.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know in making the most of your home, DIY doesn't just stand for do it yourself. It also means dream it yourself. And we're here to help protect the dreams you're building. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hey, baseball fans, there's no better place to bet the long ball than BetMGM, an official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Swing confidently on your home run bet with BetMGM's no sweat home run token. No opt-in is required. Just log in to your BetMGM account to receive your token. Then activate your token when you place a bet on any player to hit a home run. If you lose your bet, you will receive your stake back in bonus bets. BetMGM is the best place to bet the long ball. Don't miss out on our lineup of exciting promotions for the MLB season. The action is on deck at BetMGM, the king of the big swing. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Get ready for summer's heat with a $69 AC tune-up from Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. Our expert technicians will make sure your system is working at peak efficiency to help you save money on energy costs. At Hamilton, we know how important your family's comfort is. Our exceptional service guarantee, plus over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. Visit callhamilton.com for detailed terms and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Serving in the military requires great sacrifices, not just for one's country, but also for one's family. Not surprisingly, divorce for soldiers is especially difficult, and it raises a number of challenges that are peculiar to military divorce, things such as deployments, relocation, retirement benefits. These issues can be complicated. So if you're a soldier facing such challenges, go to CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. CordellCordell.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has greenlighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Pro USA to see if you qualify by dialing 800-880-5155. If you or your business owe at least $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Call Tax Pro USA to get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-880-5155. 800-880-5155. That's 800-880-5155.
Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $32.99 at O'Reilly Auto Parts. In-store only. Limit supply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Find what you love and love what you find at Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly, B21.
This report is brought to you by Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Proud partner of the Kansas City Royals. Each can of Surfside is only 100 calories and the best part, 0 bubbles. Grab it at the K or ask for it at your favorite bars and liquor stores.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
And we are back here at Heartland Men's Health, broadcasting live at their Briarcliff location, the leading provider of men's sexual health treatments throughout the greater Kansas City area. This is just one of 3 area locations. For those of you closer to Independence, they've got a location conveniently located between Lee Summit and Blue Springs, right off of I-70 and I-470 intersections. Also out south, if that's where you reside, a little bit closer to Overland Park, Kansas, that's the location that they have as well. And of course, they specialize in men's restorative health. And I've heard, of course, over and over, people, whether it's on this station or otherwise, talk about the serious nature of ED, understanding ED and its impact also on relationships. It's more than just a medical condition. It could, unfortunately, be a relationship disruptor as well. It can take a toll on your sex life. It can often lead to major relationship issues. In fact, research does show that men often draw apart from their partners when ED affects their sex life. So stop putting it off. Figure out how they can move forward with you and find a treatment plan. Your initial visit is only $99 here at Heartland Men's Health. It includes blood work, PSA, and testosterone levels, and a medical consult with a licensed medical provider. You can schedule your appointment by going to heartlandmenshealth.com or give them a call at 844-447-6600. They also have walk-ins welcome until 3:30, so you don't even have to actually schedule an appointment. You're not going to be sitting around in a waiting room or anything like that. They will get you in right away as we continue broadcasting here up in Briarcliff.
I know we're talking about, it's Chiefs Red Half Hour. I know we've been bogged down a couple of times, the last couple of times, but I want to get into something. Of course, the Chiefs Red Half Hour is brought to you by All Weather Decks, Kansas City's most respected deck builder. Check them out at allweatherdecks.net. But I was thinking about running back, and I came to a realization that I don't think that we've thought about, at least from the running back game, at least so far. And this is that running back has become more important in the NFL, and we agree there, right? Teams are taking it more serious. I figured out, 1, why that is the case, and 2, why the Chiefs have valued it less, in my opinion. The only investment they made in running back this offseason was Kareem Hunt, a 30-year-old veteran, and Rashard Smith, a 7th-round rookie. That's it. They didn't put some other investment inside of it other than the guy they already had in Isaiah Pacheco. I
guess Elijah Mitchell, but I hear you.
Fine, I guess, but that's such a toss.
Oh, I'm with you. Yeah.
That might mean even less than Rashard Smith to me, but that's fine. And I realize it's because of one very obvious thing. Running back has become more important in the NFL because, statistically, teams are now more likely to go for it on 4th down than they ever have, which makes running on 3rd down more of an option than it's ever been in the NFL. But guess who doesn't go for it on 4th down? The Chiefs. So for all the teams that now put an additional value on running back because running matters in more situations than it used to because of the aggressiveness that you can take from an offensive perspective, the fact that the Chiefs have not adopted that yet, Gold, means running back is still less important to them than everyone else in the league. Not because of Patrick Mahomes, but because of fourth down aggressiveness. Teams value it because you can run in more circumstances now. The Chiefs don't adopt that because they don't go for it as often on fourth down as everyone else.
That could be it. I mean, that could be it. I think as we discussed the offseason for the Chiefs, and this I guess is almost nitpicking, but my biggest complaint, honestly, about the offseason was that they did not get more explosive at the running back position. You guys know that. We've talked about that a great deal going back to the draft. It's not a shot at Brashard Smith. It's just that I thought they should have devoted a little bit more resource to the running back spot. And this is always where like we'll get a text and it's like, oh my, how dare you be critical of the offense? No, if you're looking at how the offense can improve, one area is I thought they could be more explosive. And we just had a discussion about Xavier Worthy down the field. The other part of this is, can you be more explosive at the running back position? So I hear you that maybe that's how they're approaching it because they just view how they view fourth downs.
Yeah.
But I think in a bigger picture, if you're looking at your offense, if you're trying to be more explosive, in addition to just having a healthy Worthy, Rice, Hollywood Brown, Travis Kelce in their respective roles the way you intended last year to go, and hopefully it happens this year, the other area is, do you have a guy that can turn a 8-yard run because he's got good protection and good vision into a 20-plus yard run? And I would argue they really don't. While I think Isaiah Pacheco can be healthy with a full offseason again and remind us why he's the number one back, I really do think that's going to happen this year. I think we're going to get a reminder very quickly like, oh, you know what, he's still pretty damn good.
Yeah.
He just was not healthy.
We're not claiming he's Saquon Barkley.
But they don't have a guy that can just break one to the house. They just don't. And maybe Brashard Smith can be that, I guess. I just wonder how much he's going to play his rookie season.
I don't know, man. I saw Louis Riddick the other day called him a Alvin Kamara clone.
I mean, I love the comp.
With 4.3 speed.
Yeah, Drew. It's a very fun comp. We all love comps.
Isn't that's what I want in the system? Sure.
Sure. I mean, that type of explosive back would be phenomenal. I wonder how much. They don't have to keep everybody. Right? Somebody's going to get cut or whatever. But Pacheco, Kareem Hunt, Elijah Mitchell, Brashard Smith, and a Carson Steele. Those are 5 running backs. None of them are making big money. I understand that, but like Pacheco obviously is going to make the team. He's going to be the number 1 running back, and he should be. Kareem Hunt sure seems like he'll be the number 2. We think.
Yeah.
The question is Elijah Mitchell and Brashard Smith for me. Which one of those guys can carve out a role? Third down back, a pass protector that can be a receiving back out of the backfield. Which one of those can fill that void? I don't think when you were saying looking out the positions being invested, I never wanted them to go out and spend a ton of money on a veteran running back. Like I know people threw out Aaron Jones.
No, I wanted them to draft.
It was more about spending draft capital on a running back, not so much spending money. Yeah, Barkley got paid. Derrick Henry got paid. Those guys get paid. They're different. Okay, I get why those guys get paid. I don't want like the 13th best running back getting paid in my system.
No, I don't really care that they spend the money on Elijah Mitchell versus somebody else. I just want them to invest a serious resource. Since Clyde Edwards-Helaire, they haven't even tried. And I'm not saying they haven't had any success because they did find a starting running back in Isaiah Pacheco. But a 7th-round running back, an undrafted running back in Carson Steele, Elijah Mitchell, Kareem Hunt, guys who were on the street during training camp, like available at any particular time, not even drafted guys. Elijah Mitchell, who I still don't understand why they paid as early as they did.
Who has? So it's interesting. Who do you think has the highest ceiling in the running back room? I mean, some people will automatically say the rookie
for this year or
I think,
career.
For the next year or two, I would say. I still think if we were to do it by ceiling. We know what Kareem Hunt is at this point, so the ceiling is lower.
His floor is the lowest.
Or the highest. His floor is the highest. Yeah, his floor is the highest because of what he is. You know what
Elijah
you're getting.
Mitchell's floor is the lowest.
Is that or the rookie? I mean, I think Elijah Mitchell, because of the health concern, is the lowest. But I also actually think he has the highest or second highest ceiling in the entire running back room. I still think Elijah Mitchell, from a ceiling perspective, would be one of the highest. Someone says we act like Pacheco is slow.
Smith.
We act like he slowly ran a 4.3. Oh, I know he ran at the combine.
Fast.
He doesn't play that fast, though. That's just we've all watched it. I think Elijah Mitchell has the highest ceiling out of anybody in the running back room.
Oh, man. What am I basing it off of? 10 games, probably his rookie year when he had 963 yards and 5 touchdowns?
Highest ceiling. Doesn't mean he gets there.
But that's no better than Isaiah Pacheco's best year. It's better than a yards per carry perspective, but not way different. I don't know. I mean, my whole thing with him is the man doesn't get on the field.
Fair.
Not a starting running back. Never really been a starting running back other than his rookie year when he replaced an injured guy, and then hasn't been able to maintain that at any other particular point.
He just turned 27 like a week ago, I think.
Yeah, which by running back standards is maybe a little bit older. The other part for him is, for as much as we think of Elijah Mitchell as a capable back, he only has 28 career catches, 19 even in that year he started 10 games. I think Brashard Smith is the answer for highest ceiling. But that is because of pure...
Well, it's because you haven't seen anything.
Yeah, it's like only because it is a wide unknown.
Mm-hmm.
What do I know? What do I know of Brashard Smith? Maybe he's a Alvin Kamara clone.
I mean, if we look at college stats for the two,
okay,
almost identical in terms of what they did. Now, Kamara didn't run as much at Tennessee as Brashard Smith did when he was at SMU, so the stats look different if you look at the total numbers, but yards per attempt, the exact same about it.
Level too.
Yeah, correct. I mean, in fairness, SMU is in the ACC, but 5.7 for Smith, 5.8 for Kamara. He received about 320 yards his final season. Kamara was 392. Yards per reception is relatively similar for both of them, so they were effective out of both sides of the backfield. I get why the comparison's made from Louis Riddick, just in terms of the former wide receiver to the running back and everything like that. I get why that comp was made.
I'm always interested when I see Louis Riddick say that about Chiefs player because he has done this over the years.
He's been right.
And he's been right. And
Trey Smith
it's
and
clearly,
Pacheco and Mahomes.
It's clearly information he's getting coming directly from the highest levels of the Chiefs organization. There's a clear track record. When Pacheco was coming out from Rutgers and we were heading into training camp that year, we could probably pull up a tweet. He said something very similar. They love Pacheco. Look out, this guy's going to be a stud. And while he hasn't had a 1,000-yard season, he was correct. The Chiefs saw, not only liked him because they drafted him, but also what they saw in minicamp and OTAs. Whenever Louis Riddick has singled out one Chiefs player heading into training camp, typically he's been correct. Now,
not 100% of the time.
Typically. Last year, the Carson Steele stuff got out of control, and he couldn't hold on the football, and he ran out of favor within the Chiefs organization during the season very clearly. But I think we've seen this happen at the running back spot before, where Louis Riddick has had that. That means it's coming from directly inside the Chiefs organization.
Cody, I wonder, so you said that the Chiefs don't try running back. I wonder if maybe they don't have to try, and I wonder if that's why they don't reach, I guess, and maybe they don't think
corner for the longest time.
I wonder because, and not that we've seen examples of running backs that haven't worked out, but obviously Clyde is the one example for Kansas City. But even throughout the league, like the Falcons go up and they get Bijan. Obviously that's super high where they got him at 8, I think, or whatever. Yeah. But he hasn't panned out to be that much different than he's got some skill obviously, and he's good, but he's not. If maybe the Chiefs are looking at it from the margin isn't that big between what Bijan Robinson is and a middle of the road running back where we're willing to just
sizable margin,
where we're willing to wait and just play our cards with what we like and what fits our system, and that's who we're going to take, whether it's the 4th, 5th, 6th, or 7th round.
I guess so. Like Drew, I've heard people mention that before, but what's weird is that's clearly not how they always thought. They drafted a guy in the 3rd round of Kareem Hunt. It made him one of the league's most explosive offenses to go with everything else. When they lost Kareem Hunt because he got kicked off the team, they tried to repeat that again with Clyde Edwards-Helaire because they were like, I don't know, man, it's kind of fun when we have an elite level back. And since then is when they've really kind of mailed it in at the running back position. And so, I don't know if that scared him away, and I told you that's just a bad way to operate in general. But
I'm sure somewhat it did, I bet.
Because this year, I guess the whole thing goes back to the draft, which is if there was a year to take a guy in the 3rd round who normally would be available in the 2nd or earlier or whatever, there were your flavor. I mean, it was Baskin Robbins, 32 flavor, whatever kind of running back you wanted in the draft, you could have got. And they waited till the 7th round to get one. It just felt like, man, that's late. And maybe Brashard Smith's a dude. I hope he is. I hope he is Alvin Kamara, obviously. That would be great.
I mean, his rookie year, you would take what Jerick McKinnon was in his best year as a member of the Chiefs. You would take that where he was a legitimate 3rd down weapon in the passing game. They trusted him in pass protection, and that's where I still think the key, if we're up in St. Joe in a month and a half, 2 months, the key for him getting on the field is going to be, is he someone that they can trust in pass protection? We've just seen that time and time again. If you want Andy to have you on the field as a 3rd down back, you better be able to protect. as well. And we'll find out, what that's going to look like. But I honestly think the ceiling of all the backs heading into this season, the highest, I think it's Mitchell. I get your point about Smith because, he's a rookie, so why wouldn't his ceiling be extremely high? Totally get
Essentially,
it.
his ceiling is limitless because I've never watched him even on a football field for an NFL team. But
so we'll see. I mean, a lot of the running back concern goes away if they're able to execute the way we think they can in the passing game. I just think they go hand in hand, right? If you have a threatening running game, that should also not allow teams to play the same way that they have in terms of your pass coverage as well. So all of it works together if you have obviously a well-balanced offense. They're always going to be a pass-heavy offense, though, as they should be. They have Patrick Mahomes as their quarterback. They have Travis Kelce still. They have weapons on the outside. Yeah, and they're not. They're not going to – under Andy Reid, they're never going to not be that. But you got to have some threat that a running back can touch the football in an offense and he can take one to the house.
Yeah.
And I don't think they have had that in a while.
We'll see if they run to the left side this year. Earlier we had mentioned there's a stat on left tackle, which I think it's only a left tackle stat, if we're being honest. The 33rd team had put out their quick list. It's like 10 offensive linemen who haven't given up a sack last year. And you look at that and you're like, oh, okay. It's actually 11 players. 11 players last year managed to give up 1 or 0 sacks last year. You're like, wow, pretty impressive. Only 4 of them, by the way, gave up 0. Of those 4, they are Trey Smith, Creed Humphrey, and Joe Thuney. So they're 4 of 11, or if you're just feeling like being even more kind, they're 3 of the 4 players in the entire NFL last year who did not manage to give up a single sack in the NFL. I think Patrick Mahomes helps all stats because I think he's good at sack evasion. He's way better than most quarterbacks in the league. It might be one of his best skills people don't talk about is his ability to keep himself standing upright versus the quarterbacks who run into sacks, like Joe Burrow and other guys we've talked about, like having a problem of making that issue worse. But the idea that there were only 11 players in the NFL to give up 1 or fewer sacks in the entire year, and that 3 of them were on the Chiefs, should tell you everything about just how bad left tackle was last year. And honestly, credit to the Chiefs, Gold, in a lot of ways, for covering it as well as they did. Because you might be saying, like, what do you mean covering it as well as they did? They went 15-2, and we didn't say much about it until they got their ass kicked in the Super Bowl. Not that it never got brought up, but we weren't, like, dragging them in Week 9 when they were trying to switch over to DJ Humphries. We're like, yeah, it's a problem, but they're making it work. And then they put Joe Thuney over there and like, but they're making it work. They covered this way better because of the elite level of the offensive line in the interior. Now the question is,
well, it's because Joe Thuney.
Can they maintain that?
Yeah.
Because now Joe Thuney's
Joe Thuney's why they were really able to do it as well. Of course, Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith. There's a reason why those guys are about.
Sure.
One of them's about to get paid a ton of money. And Trey Smith, he's already signed a franchise tag. We all know Creed Humphrey is one of the highest, and actually he is the highest
now,
paid center in football. And Trey Smith's the highest paid guard, even off the franchise tag alone before a long-term deal. The question is. You're going to be worse no matter what at left guard. Like, that's a guarantee. And that Kingsley or Mike Caliendo or the veteran guy they just signed from the Rams or whatever it was last week, over the weekend, none of those guys are going to be Joe Thuney. Joe Thuney's an all-pro, a future Hall of Fame. If there's
Joe Thuney doesn't exist.
Guards are tough to get in the Hall of Fame, but if there was one, he's got a chance, okay? And he got a nice extension in Chicago. So you're worse at left guard. The question is the balance. Okay, I was an all-pro at left guard. Now I'm going to get, let's call it average play, hopefully at worst-case scenario, left guard. But I was getting average, below average at left tackle. So if I can get above average-ish left tackle play from either Jalen Moore, question mark, Josh Simmons, question mark, then does the left guard thing balance out and you're just a better unit as a whole? And that's what the first month of the season is going to be all about. And the first week at training camp, I'm going to be curious. Does Jalen Moore get the immediate first-team reps at left tackle? Or is it Josh Simmons, who the Chiefs continue to claim will be ready for training camp? And I hope that's the case. I'm skeptical about it, but I hope that's the case. That'd be an amazing thing.
I think there's no way now. Like, seeing that stat, I think saying average left tackle play was overstating it. They got bottom 5 left tackle play last year. They started 4 different guys, including a guard. I mean, they were one of the 5 worst teams at left tackle in the entire NFL last year. Somehow still went 15-2.
They ended the season though with Joe. They ended the season with Joe Thuney at left tackle, which was giving them average-ish left tackle play.
Yeah. But like on the aggregate, for the full season, bottom 5 play at left tackle out of any team in the NFL.
Yeah.
I don't know how to view it any other way besides that, really, at this point. They started a guy who they immediately benched. They started another guy who eventually got hurt. They tried to sign a third guy in DJ Humphries, who also got hurt, then eventually switched over to their guard, as you mentioned, late in the season, and settled for average left tackle play, average guard play. Because I would argue they got average guard play out of Caliendo. Maybe that's because of Tooney. Maybe that's because of Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith making your life easier on the center and right side of the line perspective. And you and I both know that Jawan Taylor, for all the complaints we have about him, he's an average left tackle or right tackle. So, like, it's not perfect with him either. But he's not he's not holding you back. I think they might have been the worst team. Without having to do research on all 32 teams, I wouldn't be shocked to find out they were the worst team at left tackle in the NFL last year on aggregate. It was bad. Really bad. I'm borderline blown away they covered it as long as they did.
While also getting, average-ish tackle play on the right side.
Yeah, they got elite-level middle-of-the-line play. That's why they could cover it. They covered it because the three guys, as we just pointed out, Gold, who were in the middle of the line, did not give up a single sack. They were one of only 4 players in the entire NFL last year to not give up a single sack. 3 of the 4 of them, the only other guy, congratulations, Tyler Linderbaum, is the only other player who did not give up a sack.
I still always, wonder what the heck was going on. Maybe this tells us, again, as we know, they didn't have anybody else in the room, but how Kingsley just seemingly just no
won
issue
won
the job with
Turns out he wasn't competing against anybody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's what it is.
That's what. Because at first we were like, oh, if he won the job, wow, he's not going to. We thought there was going to be a competition. No, he just won the job, and he played 2 weeks, obviously, or a game and a half or whatever it was, and then he was benched, and we never saw it again. And then it was a Wanya Morris thing. So just how was that? That's what. Even though you're right that they didn't have anybody behind him, Wanya Morris still looked better than he did. So how on just.
Wanya's knee must be just a mess.
How on earth did that happen during camp? Was that just hey, we know that from a physicality standpoint, Kingsley looks the part. He looks the part, right? Because he does. Kingsley looks the part, size-wise and everything, but obviously was not ready to play left tackle in the NFL, and is not a left tackle and not a left tackle in the NFL.
That makes me also think though that if Simmons is if the doctors say he's healthy, I think he's the favorite to win the job then.
I mean, he'll have a lot more competition
last year.
He'll have a lot more competition than Kingsley had.
Sure.
Because a guy who started at left tackle for an NFL team last year is on the roster, Like, he'll have more competition. I think he should be, Drew. But, again, this health thing is going to,
Yeah, I'm just not convinced that.
Yeah, I don't know if they mean it or not.
I'm still not convinced that when the first day in St. Joe, he's getting immediate reps with the first team. I'm not convinced. And I wonder still if it gets to the point where they're like, well, hey, remember this injury was severe. It was a serious injury in October. Medicals, we feel great about him. We just want to give him a little bit more time. The next thing you know, it's 2 weeks into training camp and he hasn't got a first-team rep. And then it's pretty obvious that it's Jalen Moore's job. I hope I'm wrong because long-term, Josh Simmons needs to be the guy. That needs to be the one that works out.
Yeah. Otherwise, they're back in the market next year.
Correct.
Trading up, signing the biggest free agent left tackle, whoever it is. They're right back to having to spending cash, and at least they'd have a little bit more because Jawan Taylor beat the end of his deal. But I don't want to go into every year, Gold, wondering who the left tackle is next year. They've had 5 different starting left tackles in 5 different Super Bowls. It's probably about time to stop that.
Up next, we will get to what's trending. We'll talk a little bit more about the Royals, including their captain struggling at the plate. And if it isn't broken, why would a team try to fix this with one of their top picks in the draft? We'll try to figure that out next.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
All right, we all had the severe weather come through Kansas City. I was cleaning up branches in my yard yesterday. I bet there's a potential that your roof got damaged. Century Roofing can help you with those roofing needs. They've been working in Kansas City for 35 years. I love the people over there, Sharon, Travis. They've been so good to me. They're very kind. They've looked at my roof. They've done repairs to my roof. I'll probably have them come look at my roof again because hail damage could have caused more damage. And if it did, maybe it'll be time for a roof replacement for me. They're offering right now a free material upgrade on your roof, stuff that can help you maybe save money on your insurance premiums in the long run. And why wouldn't you do it with a trusted local business who've been helping Kansas City people handle this for 35 years in a row? I've told you before, I'll tell you again. They've been voted best of Johnson County 3 years in a row. They're up for it for a fourth time in a row. We'll see if they get another chance to do it, but you know that they can handle that. That material upgrade can help you. The style of roof, the material of roof, anything in between, they have handled before. So schedule your free estimate today from KC Basin, female-owned Century Roofing. Trust their pillars of strength. Go to centuryroofing.com and tell them that Cody sent you.
In the moments that matter most, you show up. You protect, you serve, you heal, you care. Now, let Reiselman Nissan show up for you with our Hero Appreciation Program. Kansas City's heroes get special discounts every single day. Choose from over 160 new Nissans with Kicks, Sentras, and Altimas starting as low as $399 a month, because honoring you is our privilege. Visit ReiselmanNissan.com. Every customer, every time. Reiselman Nissan.
Not all vehicles may apply. See dealer or check ReiselmanNissan.com for all details.
My name is John Clay Wolf. I'm the founder of GimmeTheVin.com. Every month, for the next 10 months, everyone that sells us their car to GimmeTheVin.com will get put in a drawing for a $25,000 winner. We're going to pull one of you out of a hat, and somebody's going to win 25 grand. So we're paying more, and you might win 25 grand. GiveMeTheVin.com. They don't call us America's Best Car Buyer for nothing.
No purchase necessary. For official rules, go to GiveMeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Memorial Day's here at Hy-Vee's, my one-stop shop for everything for our celebrations. I love heading straight to the meat department for grilling favorites like prime reserve beef and Hy-Vee's famous specialty brats like pineapple or cheddar. And spend more time celebrating and less time prepping with Hy-Vee's full-service catering and ready-to-go meals, including ribs, barbecue chicken, pork, and so many different party trays. And don't forget the adult beverages. Hy-Vee has a huge selection of seltzers, wines, beer, and spirits, all for Memorial Day, only at Hy-Vee.
Let the summer fun begin this week at Hy-Vee. Just 5 days to save big on everything you need for the perfect Memorial Day. Load up the grill with tender Hy-Vee pork ribs, just $2.97 a pound. Throw on some Oscar Mayer hot dogs for the kids, just $1.77. Add party-size Frito-Lay chips, $3.99. Ice-cold Pepsi 6-packs, $2.99. And get the party started. Stock up on all your summertime favorites this Wednesday through Sunday, only at Hy-Vee.
Hello all, Steve here with Connolly Plumbing Solutions, your neighborhood plumber. It's springtime. Yay! This is when we start working in our yards. Be careful that your outside faucet didn't burst over the winter. Maybe you've discovered that it doesn't work very well. This month we are offering an outside faucet replacement special with access for only $3.99. So call Connolly Plumbing Solutions at 913-768-7676 or visit ConnollyPlumbingSolutions.com to schedule.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down, 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we're improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000, or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com, and I look forward to working with you.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6812. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-575-6812. That's 800-575-6812.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $32.99 at O'Reilly Auto Parts. In-store only, limit supply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Find what you love and love what you find at Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly, B21.
Jefferson's Wings, Burgers, Oysters, located in Lenexa and North Kansas City. Proud lunch partner of Cody and Gold.
Kansas City, this is Michael Massey. Listen to the play-by-play all season long with Denny, Jake, Ryan, and Stu right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey Sports Station. What's trending?
What's Trending is presented by Baker University, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Apply today at bakeru.edu. We start with the NFL rule changes today. The big one was all centered around the tush push. It has not been banned. The proposal to ban the tush push did not receive the required support to pass. 10 teams voted against the proposal. You needed 75% of the league in order for that to pass. That was surprising news today. Also, the NFL tabled the discussion on reseeding the postseason. That was that proposal by the Lions that would have made it to where if you win your division, you're not guaranteed a home game anymore if there was a wild card team that had more wins than you. So that is tabled. The only thing that passed today was a small change, I guess, to the onside kick rule that will move the kick from the 34 to the 35. 34 to 35. Also, you can declare onside kicks at any point during a game as long as you're trailing. So if you want to do it in the second quarter and you're down 2 touchdowns and you think you got a look that you like, you can do it. But again, you have to declare still, so there's no element of surprise. You just don't have to wait till the fourth quarter anymore.
Yeah,
so those are the rule changes, or those that were at least proposed. The latest status on those. Also, Roger Goodell today was supposed to have his contract voted on. They have decided to just push it to a later date. Nobody thinks that anything's weird is going on there, but his contract runs through 2027. He has made these owners a lot of money. He's going to get a brand new fat contract.
Next up on What's Trending, the Royals dropped to the Giants Game 2, 3-2 last night. Had a chance, couple chances late, couldn't get another run across. Inevitably tie that series up at 1 game apiece. They'll have the rubber match today at 2:30 or 2:45. Day game coverage starting at 1:30 here on 96.5 The Fan. Your home for Royals baseball. Josh Vernier will join us coming up in 30 minutes as well.
Yeah, well, Daniel Lynch to start us off this afternoon. On to the NBA, where we saw the Western Conference Finals begin. The Thunder took Game 1 at home, 114-88 over the Timberwolves. They were 7.5-point favorites. They easily covered. It was competitive in the first quarter, first half or so. Tonight, this is the big one in terms of TV ratings and the intrigue and a little bit of history, obviously, between these franchises, although it's been a very long time. Knicks, Pacers, Eastern Conference Finals later on. Cannot wait for this game tonight.
Next up on What's Trending, industry reports suggest that Scott Hansen is close to a new deal to return as the host of NFL Red Zone.
Yes,
so, Alex, you can rejoice.
I like that.
Sounds like he's close to taking a contract. He was exploring some other options, reportedly. They were looking at maybe Siciliano or some other choices. But Scott Hansen has his contract up. But it sounds like, according to reports, he is likely to return to NFL Red Zone.
I'm happy. He's the best when it comes to this. Good for him. I'm glad they're not messing with it. You got to keep that Red Zone product strong. It's great if you're a Chiefs fan because you're watching a lot of Red Zone because the Chiefs are in these standalone slates. So then you can just enjoy Red Zone at noon most Sundays. There's like 4 this year, I guess, where they play at noon. Lastly, on What's Trending, some baseball news. There was a lot of speculation because of the Pirates' lack of success and also firing their manager that maybe they would be willing to move on from Paul Skeens. They have at least addressed it through one report saying they have no interest in entertaining the idea of a Paul Skeens trade. Now, look, I don't ever expect the Pirates to come out and say, yeah, we're good to trade him. Sure.
Open for business.
But It's one to watch. Maybe not this year, but like a year or two from now. He's only in his second year in the big leagues. Tons of team control left. One of the best pitchers, Cy Young candidate, all of that. But it's a name to watch. We were joking off there. We're like, how much would it take to pull off a trade for Paul Skeens?
Can't get your value back.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not kidding. They could have. There's not a prospect I would protect if I were another organization.
Yeah.
If I had the number 1 prospect in all of baseball, and the Royals have the number 10 prospect in all of baseball, to be clear. If I had the number 1 prospect in all of baseball, I would trade him immediately for Paul Skeens. Like, are we crazy? He's got 5 years of cheap control left at the major league level. He's making $900,000 a year, and he might win a Cy Young this year. He's pre-arbitration for the next 2 years after this one, Gold. He's not even going to get like a contract relative to his performance for 2 years.
Why would they? That's the thing.
years.
If you're the Pirates, you at least hold on to him for another 2 at minimum. At minimum. Minimum.
At 900,000? Yeah.
But that organization's a joke, so.
Yeah, they're one of the worst in the sport.
The Pirates are abysmal. That is what's trending here on Cody and Gold as we continue to broadcast live from Heartland Men's Health. We're up at one of their 3 locations. Today we're at Briarcliff, location right in the Briarcliff Village. We appreciate them having us up here again. Their beautiful location, great views of downtown Kansas City, easy access from the north as well as downtown. They are the leading provider of men's sexual health treatments throughout the greater Kansas City area. Maybe you've been thinking something's just not right. Maybe you have noticed overall low sex drive, bad sleep patterns, unproductive workouts, decreased energy, you name it. Well, that could be a sign of low testosterone. Unfortunately, many people just think, hey, I'm just getting older. It is what it is. Unaware that there are medical treatments that can give you back that vigor, that vitality, and that's where Heartland Men's Health comes into play. You can get a low-T consultation, look at your lab work done, have your results within 30 minutes. A licensed medical provider will then review results with you, discuss your options, and will make the decision together. Cost of the appointment is only $99. That includes that medical consult, testosterone and PSA levels as well. You can even do walk-in appointments, or if you want to schedule one, go to heartlandmenshealth.com or give them a call, 844-447-6600.
We'll talk to Vern coming up in about 20 minutes from now. Daniel Lynch will make the start today for the Royals we mentioned. Don't forget, though, Wednesday is our lunch hour brought to you by Jefferson's. You know we're big. You and I were both at Jefferson's, different Jefferson's, last Friday night, funny enough. They have a new happy hour here to save you money 7 days a week, half off appetizers, half off your bar tab at Jefferson's Lenexa and Jefferson's North Kansas City. Those were the 2 we were obviously at. You heard that right, half off your bar tab. Not to mention Monday is all-day happy hour, same great deals, reverse happy hour, 7 days a week. Jefferson's wing, burgers, and oysters. Look, the Royals are getting not difficult to talk about from like an on-air perspective. I don't want to come in here and tell you the same thing. They can't score. They can't get on base. They can pitch. They can sure as hell pitch. Michael Lorenzen got himself in a little bit of a jam, especially because of the Vinny error. Still worked it out pretty well, mind you. Didn't cause any major damage. Kept themselves in the game like they're in every damn game. And then kind of leveled out to where it was like they were at right now. But what I can't figure out is, at what stage is the next move for the Royals? Because the way I look at the team last night, look at Drew Waters, for instance, last night. Drew Waters was a bigger contributor on the offense than about half the guys who've been in the starting lineup the entire year. So what is the next move, and when is the next move? Is the next move just giving Salvador Perez a day off and it's something small? Is the next move moving him down in the order? Is the next move calling up Devaney from AAA because he's hitting homers? And I know that I felt this way at the time, which was, is Waters going to help this offense? I don't know. Well, he did. Like, at this point, they need micro helps to the offense, Gold. Small ones at this point. Could make a difference between wins or losses when your team's pitching this good. So like, I'm kind of waiting for the next thing.
And again, I think we're going to start seeing that starting like the next week or so past Memorial Day. I really think that's just the benchmark that a lot of teams look at, third of the way through the season, and you start to do that. And, you know, if you're talking about right field replacements and, you know, where's Hunter Renfroe fit in this organization, we know each and every day the dollar amount that it takes to move on gets less and less, and only a few people know the answer to the conversations and whether or not finances are a hurdle at all with any of that. They just ate money on Chris Stratton, though, didn't they? To DFA him. So does that mean they're willing to do that for somebody else this quickly? Does that mean they got to wait longer? I don't know, right? I don't know the answer to that, but that could also potentially be playing somewhat of a role. I think with you asked the question about, hey, short term without making a move roster-wise, but maybe a lineup move, I think the point that everybody is starting to look at now, like, could you do this, which would be you move Salvi down, you move Michael up, and that's the potential change. And so you move Michael's batting fourth. Third.
Not a traditional fourth.
Vinny would be third, Michael fourth, and then Salvi is still batting fifth. There's really just not a ton of flexibility in the lineup because you got so many guys that are not hitting still and haven't had success this year. And Salvi in particular is a frustrating one because we all know what kind of career he has had. We all know he has had hot and cold stretches, but it's May 21st. We've yet to see that stretch. And I know, and I totally get this, and we've had guests on our show, and I respect the heck out of them, that'll bring up underlying metrics, and this is showing that he's just been unlucky. I told you, I listen to that kind of stuff for the first month or so. I don't want to hear the underlying. I don't want to hear the underlying metrics are that he's just been an unlucky player when we get to June. I'll listen in April. Heck, I'll listen even this entire month of May. When we get to June, I do not want to hear you telling me, but he's just been unlucky or there's underlying metrics that say he's close to breaking out. Not in June. I'll give you 2 months.
Now, I will say, from that same metric.
Because maybe those metrics are lying in this case.
By that same attitude, I do think it's really important. And I don't know, I got into like a Royals fan the other day with this because you and I have talked about this before. But it's like, by that same thing, I also don't need their season-long stats if that's not what matters to me. Like, I don't care. Like, moving forward, and this is not just because I like him as a person, as we've discussed, I don't care about Vinny Pasquantino's current in-season batting average. Because the other day someone's like, well, your boy Vinny's still hitting 226 for a 3-hitter. That doesn't matter. I don't care that he's hitting 226 now. He has now played the last month hitting 300 with a 326 on base. All I care about is that. I don't care what he did in April. It doesn't mean anything anymore. It is unimportant for the rest of his season. It is, did Vinny figure out whatever his swing problems are, and will that maintain? And over the last month of baseball, the answer to that is yes, and his history would tell you yes. All of those things are likely to stick moving forward. I don't need just stat, like, for the same reason, like, career numbers don't mean anything for, like, Salvador Perez or what he's done at some point this year. And I couldn't believe this was a real stat. This is their biggest problem offensively. It's two things. One is hitting with runners in scoring position, and the idea that if they're not going to be a good offense, they should be small ball. They should be way better small ball. Less base running errors, more guys home with less than 2 outs, and a guy on third, all that stuff. I couldn't believe that when I looked it up, Salvador Perez has not hit a home run for the Royals since April 13th.
Yeah,
5 weeks in baseball, when you play 5-6 days a week, is a lifetime. April 13th?
Yeah, I'm getting
was the
worried,
last
man.
time he hit a home run April 13th?
Admittedly, I'm getting more concerned than I was, 2-3 weeks ago. As I said, we get further into this thing, I don't want to hear about underlying metrics, and we all know he's been a hot and cold player at times, and him chasing out of the zone is nothing new. He's had plenty of great years where that's what he does. It's more when, like last night, I see a pitch, I won't say right down the middle, that'd be misleading, but 90 miles an hour, middle of the zone up a little bit, and he just I don't think he's seeing the baseball well at all. And so that's really, really concerning. You start wondering, father time stuff, and I'm not saying that he has no chance of recovering, but I'm getting a little concerned that the age thing and maybe it's finally catching up a little bit.
But it's just
not the full extent of, like, I'm not saying he's washed, but he's a number 4 hitter in your lineup kind of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not that. Maybe he's not that anymore. That's we have to, I think, start to consider.
I know, and I feel like it's more for football than baseball in a lot of ways. I know it happens quick, but, like, dude, 6 months ago, he was a qualified 4-hitter. It's not like
I know.
It wasn't like that long ago. It's
but
like,
sometimes that happens.
Father time, and I'm not even saying for you. It's just like it got you that quick. Like 6 months ago, you were a 270 hitter with a 330 on base, slugging 27 homers and 100 RBI, playing for a playoff team. And 6 months later, you can't move. Like you can't play. I still
we have
feel
yet
like,
to have
I know,
we have yet to have the moment. Like maybe it's this afternoon. I hope it is, guys.
He puts
we have the
one
moment this
into the
afternoon
cove to
where
the opposite field.
even if he's 0 for 2 in his first at bat, 0 for 3 in his first 3 at bats, but that fourth one, it's the 8th or 9th inning, and they got a man on second, and he comes up with the big hit. We just haven't seen that. Now, we haven't seen it from anybody, but I'm also talking about the captain of the team, and the standard is different for you. The captain of the team, you're one of the key pieces for this
First
offense
guy to get
get
the
it.
C since
Gordon,
or
Sweeney.
Sweeney.
So yeah, I mean that both of them. So like I think that's what's frustrating is it's we haven't even had the big. It doesn't feel like the big hit from him this year yet.
Yeah, I agree. But I also just think like home runs in general, they're dead last in the league, man. Dead last in the league. Salvador Perez has been pretty perennially a 25 to, and at times 48, but let's just take the outlier year away, a 25 to 30 home run hitter. Bobby Wood Jr. is capable of hitting 30 home runs in any given year. Vinny, 20 to 25, maybe 30 on a good year, home run hitter overall. All of those guys are below the normal numbers, Gold, so that's a bad start. All the guys are below the normal number. That's a tough start. And then in addition to some guys just aren't hitting them at all. Salvador Perez, Michael Massey, and because MJ Melendez, a guy who might have been a home run hitter at one particular point, hasn't been in the lineup because he hasn't been in the big leagues at all. It gets back to this. All comes back to, and I mean,
people are asking you to do a song. Does the captain need a
man,
song?
Salvador Perez.
I don't know, man. The captain doesn't need a song, right? It either is going to happen or it's not going to happen for him this year. I don't think. Usually the song is for less proven guys.
I know, yeah. I mean, typically I
It's
save
not a
it
veteran
for
song. It's not a veteran song.
15 years in the big leagues and he's getting a song?
Usually we don't.
Let me
we
think
don't
about.
see
Let me
that.
think about. I'm trying to think about a song that would work. Feels like it would need to be.
Someone said the next series is the one where they'll really freak out. He usually crushes at Target Field, and that is true.
Oh, it's true.
Basically, if it's not happening this weekend, people are going to start freaking out more. I hear you. I hear you on that. It's true. He does typically have some really, really good numbers at Target Field. Maybe he just needs to get up to St. Paul, Minnesota, and Minneapolis area and figure it out.
Somebody was saying, do you remember how quickly it happened for Billy Butler? It did seem like it happened quick for him.
Yeah,
but not as. But again, not as quick as you think. No, it didn't happen as quick as you think. You're thinking he just left Kansas City and the guy stunk. His last year in Kansas City was a 271 hitter with a 323 on base. I guess, I don't know, that last year in Kansas City might be the beginning of the decline. So maybe that. But even then, man, less gradual than what we're seeing out of Salvador Perez right now. He definitely got worse. But in his, I don't know, at age 30 between two teams, Billy Butler still hit 284 with a 336 on base. Not much power, and he only played in 97 games. But, like, I don't know, he's still like a qualified big league player by the time he was done. So I don't know, man.
We'll talk about it with Vern here in about 10 minutes or so. Josh Vernier, our Royals insider, is going to join us, and he'll be actually on the air at 1:30 as well today for his on-deck show as the Royals wrap up their series there in the Bay Area, taking on the Giants. 2:45 first pitch, Daniel Lynch on the bump, and then they get an off day, and then they head to Minneapolis on Friday.
That's a good point on Target Field.
His numbers are great. Did you just pull them up, the numbers?
No.
No.
But historically, he is very, very good at Target Field. I just remember those stats always come out every year. He's played there a lot. Seems to like the dimensions, the batter's eye. I don't know what it is, but it works for Salvador Perez in that field pretty consistently. Are you trying to see what the split is? No, I'm just kind of curious.
I don't have it in front of me.
I can find it pretty quick, I guess. But yeah, I don't know, man. April 13th. April 13th. Ugh. That's the part that gets me. What is somebody saying? I'm going to cower out of
They
this
said
song?
you should do a song Salvi instead of Jolene. So they went Jolene. So Salvi. Salvi. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if that's
Where's
the
your
one.
swing, my man?
I mean, there's some elements that could work, I guess.
But also I don't want to say this for sure. Now, you know why I won't do that one? Is that in deference to our guy, Ben Heisler, he did that cover once to Embiid.
Oh, you can't do it then.
And so, like, I don't, I was like, why does that seem familiar?
Okay, yeah.
Why does that, I was just trying to figure out.
You can't do it then.
Why
that
does
song's
that seem
off limits.
that song's off limits. I totally agree. I was just trying to make sure. Before we got too far, I don't want to get stuck into that.
What do you make of the news that just came out from Adam Schefter? Nothing like huge news, but Hard Knocks training camp this year will feature the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, the Bills.
The Bills. So
talked them into a playoff team, so the rules changed.
Yep. So they've got the Bills Hallmark movie this year, and now they got Bills Hard Knocks this year. Sean McDermott will be mic'd up throughout training camp. That alone is going to get me to watch. I don't know what he's going to say. I don't know what references he's going to use, so I can't wait.
I mean, he ought to be very careful about motivating his team, I'll say.
No, I'll be curious to watch them. They're the Chiefs. They're obviously a rival contender in the AFC, so they're the biggest contender to them, even though the Chiefs have beat them every time in the playoffs. But they are the team that they typically have to beat.
And is in it every year.
And it isn't every year. They'll play in Buffalo this year. Yeah, so that's a good team. Like, if it was a random NFC team, I wouldn't care. I'm more likely to – I'll admit, I'm more likely to watch
I haven't
because
watched
the Bills.
in years.
I'll probably watch
this one.
This
Intrigues me more than the losing teams for the reason that you just mentioned. They changed the rules this year to include playoff teams. They convinced the Bills to do it after after Jordan didn't get ownership rights over Hard Knocks.
Yeah, anything new there?
I don't know, man. I'll say.
There were rumors they're engaged.
Yeah, and
do you believe that? I think they actually are.
They
I think
might
they
be.
probably are. And I hit a new level of creeped out when somebody said Bill Belichick's age gap is closer to the Titanic sinking than his current wife his maybe fiance, and I was like, oh my God, his age gap is closer to the Titanic. That can't be good.
That's disgusting.
He's closer to have been on the Titanic than the age of his maybe fiance. I don't feel good about that.
Yeah.
So I don't know about that. I am interested in the Bills.
We'll just look at Bill's left hand, when he's doing the games, unless he's got his arms crossed the whole time. We'll see if we can spot a ring.
See if he's got. You think he's wearing an engagement ring?
Yeah, you're right.
Bill
You're right.
Some men do. I'm not knocking that.
I'm sure they're going to show her at some point. She's going to be on the field next to him during the games. We'll get some sort of an idea. The text line is
Career
right.
target.
We might get an accent. We might get some more storylines around the Josh Allen Haley Steinfeld relationship with Hard Knocks.
Oh, there you go.
You think
I'm sure there'll be an angle. I'm sure there's an angle.
Although at training camp, though, only like
here's the problem with Hard Knocks, man. They don't show any of the players you care about. They always focus in on some dude named Jeb with a mullet. Who
if they're smart, they're going to have Keon Coleman on every episode.
Who's not going to make the roster?
Keon Coleman could be.
He might be a star.
Just a flat-out star with his personality and everything. He'd be great. He's alone a reason to watch. So okay.
Yeah, I did look it up. Salvador Perez's career at Target Field, 95 games. So he's played a lot there. 307 average, 337 on base, 23 career home runs there, 63 RBI.
Well, it's got to happen this weekend then. Otherwise, I'm going to be really, really concerned.
Most walks he's had at any stadium in his career, other than Kauffman. So,
he likes Target Field. If this is the weekend, this is the weekend.
It's not even close. This is his best road park by far, especially when you factor in number of games. The only other ones that he has good numbers at are Steinbrenner Field this year, or Nationals Park that he's played 3 games at, or some of the other smaller ones. But if it's any field he's played a significant number at, Fenway might be close. But yeah, it's his best road park. No doubt about it.
All right, up next, we'll check in with our Royals insider, Josh Vernier. We'll ask him about Salvador Perez. We'll obviously discuss how the Royals are going to handle today with Daniel Lynch starting and what he made of maybe a comment or two from J.J. Piccolo yesterday. That's coming up right here on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Jefferson's Wings, Burgers, Oysters, located in Lenexa and North Kansas City, proud lunch partner of Cody and Gold.
The Other Place, Shawnee, Olathe, downtown Overland Park, Mission, and Belton have lots of big screens, great food, and beer specials. Plus, patio season is coming up soon. The Other Place is your home for baseball this spring. The Other Place and theotherplace.com.
This summer, Casey's has 89-cent fountain and frozen drinks. But if you don't have 89 cents, you could check your center console, or dig between your couch cushions, or ask Grandma for $1, or Just use your credit card. We take those too. 89-cent frozen and fountain drinks at Casey's. All summer long. Restrictions may apply. See store for details.
Reiselman Nissan, the king of midsize SUVs, has the ride you've been waiting for. Shop the best selection of Rogues and Kicks in Kansas City with payments starting at just $399 a month. Plus, every day, Reiselman salutes our first responders and heroes with special discounts. With over 160 new Nissans on the lot, your perfect ride is waiting. Visit ReiselmanNissan.com today and experience royal treatment at Reiselman Nissan. Every customer, every time. Reiselman Nissan. Not all vehicles may apply. See dealer or check ReiselmanNissan.com for all details.
Hi, Mia here at the winnings desk of the Missouri Lottery. So, I wanted to write a thank you note for every dollar Missouri Lottery players have given to Missouri and education. But that would be 8.4 billion notes. So to save a little time and a whole lot of paper, here's just one. Dear every single lottery player in Missouri, thank you for helping us give $8.4 billion to Missouri and education. Sorry, my trumpet's in the shop. The Missouri Lottery. Winners welcome and play responsibly.
Honey, it's me, your wife. Spring is here, and our house desperately needs the experts at Powell Exteriors Casey for siding, windows, entry doors, beautiful decks, patio covers, roofs, and more. Get ready for summer at powellkc.com.
Have you or a loved one been diagnosed with cancer? You want the most knowledgeable physicians with the latest technology. That's KCPI, the Kansas City Proton Institute. KCPI has a full suite of the most advanced imaging and treatment technology necessary to localize high-intensity proton beams. That's a critical part of maximizing cure rates while minimizing recovery time and long-term side effects. Proton therapy provides patients with the most advanced form of radiation treatments for cancer. It destroys cancer cells with supreme accuracy, reducing the risk of harmful side effects. KCPI has Kansas City's first and only system that uses pencil beam technology, resulting in precision targeting and less radiation to your surrounding healthy tissue. Proton therapy is now available in the comfort of an office at KCPI, making it more efficient and affordable than a hospital. So contact KCPI for the most knowledgeable physicians with the latest technology. Don't wait. Get precision technology with the highest safety measures with KCPI. Online at kcpi.com. Call Aspen Lawn and Pest Control. Our iconic blue trucks and expert team get it right the first time. Award-winning full-service lawn care and pest control since 1985. Call today for a free estimate. Visit aspenlawn.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
At Napa, we've spent the last 100 years building our business into an engine that powers yours. Whether you're big or small, national or local, Napa has the automotive solutions your business needs to stay moving. And it's all driven by a nationwide network of quality parts and exceptional service on one mission: to keep your business moving full speed ahead. That's why we are the pros that know.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, you know to check you have your phone first, before the cab pulls away.
Hey, thanks, man. Oh, no, wait, my phone! Come back! It's got my boarding pass, credit cards, phone numbers, my life! Come back!
Checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Losing your family's home movies and photos would be devastating. That's why Legacy Box exists, to preserve your family's recorded moments digitally, ensuring they're safe forever. Think of the time and money your family invested to capture family vacations, birthdays, even your wedding. Recording a lifetime of memories was a commitment. Camcorders cost thousands, and cameras required film and development. Legacy Box is the final step to preserve your family's past. Thankfully, it doesn't require another big investment. Legacy Box is safe, simple, and affordable. Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box to convert their analog media to digital. You owe it to your family to safeguard your memories. Become your family's hero and save them before it's too late. For a limited time, Legacy Box is offering an exclusive discount when you go to legacybox.com/value. That's legacybox.com/value.
This report is brought to you by Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka in Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka in Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Proud partner of the Kansas City Royals. Each can of Surfside is only 100 calories. And the best part, 0 bubbles. Grab it at the K or ask for it at your favorite bars and liquor stores.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
We'll get to the random question of the day here in about 15 minutes. Reminder, we are broadcasting live from Heartland Men's Health Clinic up north today. We're at their beautiful clinic in North KC, the Villages at Briarcliff. Easy access from the north as well as downtown. This is just one of their 3 locations. If you're out south, don't forget Overland Park, Kansas. You can stop in there. Also, the Independence location, if you're between right there, Lee Summit, Blue Springs, right off I-70, I-470 intersections. They make it very easy for you there. 3 locations with expert staff that know all about men's restorative health that provide 5-star patient experiences every single day. And since April of 2023, they've successfully treated thousands of men across the 3 area locations. If you want to schedule an appointment, just go to heartlandmenshealth.com or give them a call, 844-447-6600. We go out to the hotline and welcome in a guy that's going to be broadcasting here in about an hour for his On Deck show, a little afternoon baseball. Of course, I'm talking about Josh Vernier, our Royals insider, as the Royals wrap up their series in the Bay Area there at Oracle Park, taking on the Giants, a 2:45 first pitch. Vern, before we get into how the Royals are, I guess, going to handle today with Daniel Lynch and everything starting, yesterday we had J.J. Piccolo on the show, and there were a couple of things that stood out to us just about I guess, moving forward the rest of the season and how they're going to navigate this roster a little bit. Obviously, the internal discussions are already happening, ways to improve the offense. But for those that are, I'm sure you see it and hear it on your post-game show all the time, wanting them to go make a trade, there is really no trades to make at this point in time. Too many teams are still in it.
Yeah, this is the group at least for another month. You go back a couple of years ago when they jumped the market in trading Aroldis Chapman. It was still right middle to late June before you saw that team pull the trigger and win the trade deadline. Okay, last season when they bring in Urseg, that's a little closer to the trade deadline. But again, July 31st is more than 2 months away. Yeah, there was so much in that conversation you guys had with JJ. I thoroughly enjoyed it, from the comp with Jack Caglione to him calling out every single base running mistake to a T. Not sugarcoating anything. Really appreciated that. And then, laying it all out there. And I love the way that he tagged it, right? He says, no, the market's not really developed, but we're thinking about it every moment of every single day. Again, his track record, John Sherman's track record, lends you to believe that if the offense continues to struggle this mightily for the next month, it's going to be more than one addition to this team, because right now this team is more than one bat short from winning the division. Now, as I say that, I think to myself, well, is that the goal of the front office? Is it division title or bust? Or with how below average this offense has been, does that maybe change how you view things? And now it's just get in, and then maybe down the stretch with a possible promotion of a Jack Caglione, maybe then that's enough to just get us in and maybe get hot in October.
Yeah, the way I was viewing it, it's like, and I know there's not much to done, but I was just thinking about like the Drew Waters part, Vern. It's like, hey, he made your offense better. I'm not saying they're good, but it was better than the option that they were offering in MJ Melendez. Like, how long till they start deciding Devaney's a better choice than options at the big league level? Like, not even talking about trade, just somebody who can hit or has a chance to hit, because they're running into an issue now, Vern, where they're a third of the way into the season and they still got half the lineup who's not swinging.
Sure, but to add the Cam Devaney, to add the John Rave, you need to make that corresponding move to the 40-man roster, which I don't know off the top of my head. I'm sure there's someone on there where I would go, oh, okay, well, just get rid of this dude. No one wants to see this dude. Get rid of that guy. I'm sure there's a name or two, so maybe it's not that arduous to make that 40-man move. Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. Again, when you're bottom 5 in most offensive categories, there are no bad ideas.
Oh, I'm looking through it. All right, let's go through the old. I mean, I don't even know who that guy is.
I mean, you can hack off Luke Maley, right? Or actually, he was just
he got
DFA'd.
Yeah, he got DFA'd.
Who's Eric Sarantola?
They just added him this offseason. He was one of the 3 adds to protect him from the Rule 5. He's a hard-throwing right-hander that I think is long to be a reliever. But a big arm,
I was like,
arm.
that was just like one of those was like, I'm just going to have to ask now because that's my initial instinct is person I don't remember, you know?
Someone though,
Cameron and Avila were added this offseason.
Okay. Someone that we obviously know is not going anywhere, but maybe is there movement in the lineup? I'm talking about Salvador Perez. We were having a discussion prior to you hopping on with us. Just, hey, he gets target field this weekend. Maybe this will get him going or something. Otherwise, very concerning. You know, the underlying metrics, people can bring those up all day long to me. I'll listen in April and May. I'm not going to buy into that in June, and we're not there yet, but we're about a week out from that. What are you seeing from Salvi? I thought last night in particular there was a pitch or two that was a little more concerning, not just the normal chasing out of the zone stuff we've seen throughout his career, but just flat out looking like the swing's a little slow.
He was robbed of a knock, I would say, in the 4th. The 8-pitch punch out there in the 6th. I don't know if that's the one you were talking about, but that Rodriguez dude was punching out Bobby. He got Mike swing, and that dude was pretty nasty there in the 6th inning. Yeah, listen, I think you make a great point as far as the underlying numbers in April and May. I can't refute that. Thankfully, we still have another 10 days left in May to hang on to that hope because when you have a track record like Salvi to go along with those expected numbers and the work ethic that we've marveled at for more than a decade, I'm going to give him these 10 days.
Sure.
But also, like we mentioned right out of the gate, this is the squad for the next month, likely. So drop Salvi to the 5 spot, to the 6 spot. That means Michael, okay, fine. But Jonathan India is still at the top of the lineup, and he's been underwhelming. Vinny in big moments with runners in scoring position has not been the monster that he was a season ago. Michael can move up. I got no issue with that. But now we're praying that Mark Canna can keep it up. I mean, you understand all of this. Salvi is a key cog to this team and will be throughout the season. I think we all agree that it'll be unfair to ask a 35-year-old to catch and hit cleanup and really expect this team to win the division. I think is ridiculous. Now, you move him out from behind the dish, and I guess it becomes a possibility, but I don't see him moving from behind the plate. So when those summer months show up, Salvi needs to drop. And I know inside the organization, they know that. They've braced for that. And, you know, unfortunately, the way that they've braced for it hasn't necessarily worked out. MJ's in Omaha. Michael Massey's not doing much. Jonathan India, like we talked about, is underwhelmed. And Vinny's not coming through in those big moments. So, again, to win the division, this team appears to be 2 bats away to go along with a possible promotion from within. Hopefully, Salvi can turn it around, Massey, somebody else, to make it not necessary for JJ to try to once again pull a rabbit out of the hat and bring in the offensive equivalent of Cole Reagans and Lucas Urseg, 2 guys that can make the case that we're one of the 5 best in the world at what we do.
I guess part of that, though, is like last year, their single biggest weakness was the bullpen, and that man swung for the fences in the bullpen department. So, like, do we kind of expect a similar approach to the offense this year? Because that's the only thing to fix right now. Like,
you have to think so, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's John Sherman's MO. That seems to be JJ's MO, to be aggressive, to capitalize on the opportunity. And, yeah, as of right now, thankfully, and with the good news that JJ passed along yesterday with you guys about Cole Reagans and Seth Lugo and how optimistic they are on that front, it would still appear that the Royals will be in a position of power heading into the deadline with all that pitching depth. Now, again, knock on wood that Reagans and Lugo return and can stay healthy. But if that is the case, pitching is not what the Royals will be fishing for. Not that there's going to be a ton of impact bats out there, but everyone needs pitching. not everyone needs a bat. So the Royals, I think, will be in a good spot.
I guess that to that point, I'll ask you about Daniel Lynch here in a minute and whether or not like this can turn into another opportunity for him to start down the road, or just it's a possible just get in the lineup and do whatever, do your job as a starter today. But Michael Lorenzen, if Noah Cameron deals while these guys are down, they come back and the rest of the rotation's still good. Bubic still dominates. Reagans and Lugo are good. Everything works. Does Lorenzen become a trade possibility for the Royals?
For sure.
And they just go Noah Cameron or somebody else?
Yeah. I mean, listen, you're either going to move him or lose him. You could say the same for Seth Lugo. Chris Bubic has a year and a half left. There are a lot of possibilities when it comes to this pitching staff. And like we talked about, J.J. Piccolo needs to be right with whichever one he chooses. Now, Lorenzen could also be could be beneficial to the team if he moves to the bullpen in the second half of the season, especially if the innings logged by Reagans and Waka and Lugo, again, a rotation right now that leads Major League Baseball in innings pitched, if that begins to slow down, regress in the bullpen, instead of throwing those innings on a Daniel Lynch, Urseg, and Estevez, having a guy that can give you 2 to 4 innings every few weeks, in multiple appearances every few weeks, in a guy like Michael Lorenzen, that could be beneficial. So, again, Seth Lugo's going to opt out in a few weeks. Maybe he returns like Michael Waka did, but that could also be a pretty big matzo ball to put out there.
We're talking to Josh Vernier here on Cody and Gold. All right, what about today with Daniel Lynch? As Cody alluded to, he's going to start today. We all know he's been in the bullpen. What's the plan, I guess, today? And knowing that Reagans and Lugo are not going to be gone hopefully too long on this IL stint, this is just kind of a one-off, kind of get through it day. Is that basically what they're approaching it as?
Yeah, yesterday, yes, an off day for Daniel Lynch, but he did pitch 2 of the two previous days, and throwing today is going to be 4 of the last 6. So I would expect 2 innings. I'm hoping for 2 innings out of Daniel Lynch. I think Taylor Clark can come in behind and give you multiple innings as he's well rested coming off the paternity list. Estevez, Urseg, Schreiber, all of them with the night off yesterday. Really, the only guy you would think is unavailable is Jonathan Bolin, who picked up the final 5 outs last night. So it's a full bullpen, but you're also going up against a guy in Logan Webb, who right now might be the best right-handed pitcher in the National League. It's going to be one of those type of victories if the Royals are able to pull this one off. One that I think we point back to and go, can you believe they pulled that one out? Wow, what a team effort it was to take that series in San Francisco.
I guess it's what I give them so much credit for. Like, I understand they faced some good pitching in this series, Robbie Ray being in the first one. This team is in every game, Vern. The pitching is so good that even with an offense that is bottom 5 or 10 in runs, they're dead last in home runs, they're bottom 3 in the league with hitting and runners in scoring position. When I'm in the 8th inning, I'm still watching a team run down with a chance, right? I mean, I give them a lot of credit, I guess, for that, although at some point it's like, if the offense hit, it feels like they could go on a Twins run. They could win 10 games in a row if they just decided to hit.
Yeah, you find yourself in that interesting place that Chiefs fans find themselves in and have found themselves in really ever since Andy Reid showed up, where, man, I'm happy with the win, but boy, I wish it was a little sexier, or it should have been better, or we're going to focus on the things that aren't working. You need to catch yourself, not you guys, but fans on the postgame show certainly need to catch themselves when they say, man, the offense is killing us. No, nothing's killing you when you have a winning record, when you have one of the 6 best marks in the American League. Nothing's killing you. Now, the offense is holding you back from being your best. It's stopping you from truly capitalizing on the best rotation in the American League, and having a guy like Lucas Urseg, who is the best relief pitcher in the American League. Chris Bubic and Michael Waka, you dive into the numbers, they're 2 of the 15, 20 best pitchers in the sport. And then you also have 2 of the top 5 American League Cy Young Award vote getters from a season ago. Yeah, this is, right now still, the best pitching staff in the American League. And yeah, you would love to be atop the division, but you're in the race. You have 112 games to go. You would have taken this on opening day. We all would have. And that's why you still have hope on a day like this where you're pretty big underdogs going up against a stud right-hander, but you're showing up today expecting the boys to walk away victorious, and that's a pretty good feeling.
Last one for you, Vern. Is there an updated timeline in your mind now that we know Cags is in AAA and it's May 20th, now 21st, now that we don't have to wonder if that's going to take longer? Is it still this July, August, best-case scenario stuff?
Yeah, that's. I mean, the dream scenario is still very much underway, right? Dominate AA, go to AAA for a couple of months, and if you can crush there, and the offense at the big league level can do its part to where you're not put in a position where you need to be the hero. Yeah, August, no reason to believe that Cags wouldn't be a nice piece to introduce to the lineup in the 7 spot and hope that he can climb over a guy like Salvi and Mike Cal, push them down in the lineup and be that left-handed Pete Alonso that JJ mentioned yesterday.
Yeah, we would all sign up for that. That sounds good to me.
That
All
was
right,
so
Vern.
cool of him to say that.
Yeah.
How many general managers are going to do that?
No,
that was awesome.
No, exactly. If it would have been very easy, like, I don't want to get into comps or anything, even though everybody has one in their organization. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, they're definitely not going to temper the flames on the hype train or anything like that. That's for sure.
No, and we'll riot if he's not Pete Alonso.
All right, Vern, appreciate it, man. We'll be listening to Vern coming up at 1:30. We're handing things off to him, his on-deck show, as the Royals are playing a little afternoon baseball today in the Bay Area, taking on the Giants. And as Vern said, though, tall task today just based off what you're throwing out there and obviously who they're going up against. But you know what? It's baseball, man. It's weird. Watch today be a day where all of a sudden they hit. It would not stun you. It really wouldn't.
If you're still looking for something to eat, don't forget Jefferson is the Wednesday lunch partner here at Cody and Gold. New happy hour to save you money 7 days a week, half off appetizers, half off your bar tab at Jefferson's, Lenexa, and Jefferson's North Kansas City. All day happy hour on Monday. Same great deals during reverse happy hour 7 days a week as well. Jefferson's wings, burgers, oysters. My kids put dollar bills on that. I happen to have singles for the first time.
All the Jefferson's locations, man. You get a right. You can color the bill. Whatever it is, right? And you put the thumbtack up or whatever. For sure. In Lawrence, I did that way back when I was in college in the Lawrence location too. Yeah.
The North Kansas City one. They must need more dollars on the wall. They were offering like half order of fried pickles or whatever.
Yeah, the Lenexa one is a newer building too, so it makes sense. But yeah, I was just there last Friday night, man. Corn nuggets, little honey barbecue wings.
I got corn nuggets for the table. Not kidding.
Yeah, I bet your kids loved them.
They did, and so did the people we were eating with. I want to get to the random question in just a second, Drew. Give me just a second. But the Adam Schefter did send out the official 10 teams who voted against the tush push ban. And I thought that might be of interest to us.
So this is against the ban.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So if you missed it earlier today, the tush push did not pass. They took an actual vote amongst the owners of all 32 teams. They needed 24 of those teams, or those owners, to agree to ban the tush push for it to go in. Only 22 did. So they were off by 2 votes. These are the 10 teams that chose not to ban it. The Eagles, we knew.
Duh.
Okay. Ravens, Browns, Lions, Jags, Dolphins, Patriots, Saints, Jets, Titans.
So the Chiefs.
So the Chiefs voted
I'm gonna
to
text
ban
Bink. I'm going to text Bink right now.
Chiefs voted against it.
Bink's been blowing up my phone all week. Oh, my goodness.
I'm trying to decide if there's any correlation amongst these teams. And other than most of them are bad, I can't really find a general correlation for when, like, the Saints got something in mind with Taysom Hill they don't want getting rid of. The Jets just got a running quarterback.
There's also allegiances
Titans just got a running
ownership.
quarterback. They want to do those things. Yeah. Are they just close with Laurie? I don't know. I don't see a general consensus for what I see as being like the theme amongst the teams that kept it.
No, it's interesting the Chiefs aren't part of that.
They voted.
Albert Breer mentioned that the Eagles owner Jeffrey Lurie and Jason Kelsey spoke for about 45 minutes in the general session, and that obviously Jason's focus was on the mechanics of the play and how his view it was not overly dangerous. Other owners
overly dangerous.
Other owners that spoke, and I don't know which. Well, based on what we just said, obviously you can tell what side. Jerry Jones spoke. We know he's as influential as any owner.
Yep.
Jed York, the Niners, and then the Bills owner was the Pegula or whatever it is, or
Pegula or whatever it's pronounced.
Whatever it is.
Pegula,
thank you. He spoke as well from the Bills. So
Bink's going to be so disappointed, guys.
He already texted me back.
The Bills didn't do it either.
I just said, hey.
I thought with Josh Allen, they might want to be anti-tush push or pro-tush push.
He said, I figured the Chiefs would do it. Historically, they have done what the league wants.
Well, the league was split on this one.
Yeah,
a very
yeah.
rare case
Yeah.
where the league wasn't in agreement.
Yep.
This is kind of important to
It's
note.
usually 32-0, 32-0, unanimous stuff.
It is very rare that something actually gets voted on by the NFL owners that everybody doesn't already know the result of. As in, everybody doesn't already know we're going to ban it.
Well, that's why they table like the playoff reseeding. We can talk about this more in the 1 o'clock hour. Got tabled. It's because they didn't have the votes to even like one or the other. It was going to be way off. There's no
So they
reason
just
to
didn't vote for it.
Yeah. Whereas this was a hot button issue. There was clearly a lot of the league that wanted to ban the tush push, and obviously not enough though. Again, you have to have 75%. So we'll talk more about what else happened today in the NFL just a bit. But in the meantime, let's get to it, Drew.
Random question.
For you, Gold. For you, Drew. Text line 913-586-7965. Of course, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook. Live stream the show 4 hours every day. Today, you're looking at 3D printed figurines.
Do we have those up?
They're up.
Back in the studio?
Yeah, they're up and in the studio, so you can look at something on the camera. Plus, it's just a great way to interact with us over on YouTube and Twitch where we can chat. You can subscribe, get to the top of the page. We'll obviously be back in studio today. I have to go rappel down Arrowhead again today.
Yeah, you're going to that.
Did it last year. I'm back.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm back.
That is the video's always cool with that. And this is one of those where go right ahead, my man. You go right ahead. I love heights, so
Salvation
that was,
Army is down for the challenge.
Oh, it's great.
Tell
I mean,
KC raises a lot of money.
It's a great cause. You just know there's no chance that I would due to the heights issue. There's no chance. It's one thing like just sitting up in row 38 in section 302 or something, and then you're asking me to hang off the edge and rappel. I can't do it.
So you guys don't have kids, but I'm going to make the random question about my eventual rappelling down the road. Because kids will ask, first, yesterday, I had Gold. We had a birthday party for one of his stuffed animals because the day before he was determined.
Okay.
And, we made a real cake, and
You made a real cake?
I made a real cake.
You went through the hassle to make a real cake for the stuffed animal?
Single layer.
Love it.
Single layer cake.
Wow. How long did that
Decorate.
take?
Dude, the baking time takes longer than the actual
That's what I'm
preparation
saying.
time. I don't know, 30 minutes.
Okay, so you make
It's
a cake
single
for
layer
the
cake.
stuffed animal.
We do all that stuff. So, kids will, I like to indulge kids. This is the catnap.
Oh, okay.
Cake,
Yeah.
This is Catnap. It was his
Oh,
birthday.
all right. Okay.
Catnap got his own cake.
Okay. Your
Right?
son was happy.
Yeah, he was happy.
Yeah.
So I like to indulge in their conversations. I try to talk to them like adults. But since you don't have kids, I'm curious how you respond. This morning, I'm getting ready to tell them, I say, hey, Desmond, look, I'm going to show you a video. I said, I'm going to go climb down there. And he said, what do you die? I was like, okay, relax. I'm not going to die. He's like, but what? He's like, what happens if you fall and die? I'm like, stop. Relax. They are very safe. I went down it last year. Incredibly safe. Very fun. Awesome event. All this stuff. What am I supposed to tell a kid in this situation? He's asking about death a lot more. How do you handle it? You just tell him the truth?
I mean, in this scenario,
What's the scoop?
when he knows you're rappelling off Arrowhead, I would say, oh, that's never going to happen. I'm all strapped in. They've got safety equipment. These are professional.
I told him
all
I told him
that.
safety
I think you just say
These
that.
are
You,
pros.
you act like nothing could ever go bad in this
It's
scenario.
a 0%.
Yes.
I think it is a 0.00% chance.
But yeah, that's what I think you would have to tell your kid. Yeah, because they do. By the way, they do these all across the country anyway. But yeah,
No, not that.
it's a
It's
fair
incredible.
question. It's a fair question that he has. But you just say, well, no, totally. I'm strapped in. I got all kinds of harnesses on and everything.
He was asking about because it was a week. I think he's just he's getting in that phase where kids are 6 and they start asking about death. Because he was asking about it. He always tells us he misses
See
the
the
old
top text?
cat. No, he always says he misses the old cats.
Someone says, I love how Cody keeps saying he has to go rappel, as if he's being forced to do it.
No. I'm
Someone
really happy to
says-
help out the
someone
Salvation
says-
Army. I'm really happy for the event. I'm glad to go out. That'll be fun.
You see that one from the 620? Dang.
Jeez.
Dang.
Man, why is it got to be like that? Text line? That's dark. But he's in that phase now that he's asking those questions like, hey, what happens if, what are we going to do when our dog dies? I'm like, I don't want to answer these questions.
He's asking all this stuff?
Yes. He's a very deep thinker. He asks a lot of
What did you respond back with the dog
intense
question?
questions. I just said, I don't want to talk about this right
Oh,
now. We were on a car ride. The kids were being loud before that. I'm like, I'm not getting into this. Too deep. I'll get back to you later. Hit me up later. I don't have time. Sometimes I just got to tell him, hey, I can't do this. The other day, not kidding, maybe 2 weeks ago, he said, he said, how old is Earth? And I said, it's billions of years.
Wow.
I said, it's billions of years old. He said, well, then how did it start? I said, well, the prevailing theory is the Big Bang Theory.
It's a heck of a question.
And he's like, well, what does that mean? And I was like, dude, I don't even know where to start. I can get you a video. Maybe Bill Nye explains it in some video. But he gets down.
right.
He starts asking some deep stuff sometimes. It's like if you were hanging out with your buddy who just took shrooms and starts asking deep questions. That's what it's like to hang out with a 6-year-old sometimes. They start asking something like, does it make a sound when your hair grows?
What's the meaning of life?
Yeah, we start getting into the deep stuff. I didn't know how your parents handled it. Do you remember?
I mean,
did you guys have the
honestly,
birds
I don't
and the bees
remember.
talk with your parents?
I never actually had like the true.
I didn't either.
I didn't have like the true sit
Did you,
down.
Drew?
It wasn't like
Is this a real thing? Do people have the birds and the bees?
I think people absolutely do, but I never like. It's one of the you always hear like in the not cliche, but like I had to sit down and talk to my dad. But no, I did not have that conversation.
Yeah,
You're saying yeah.
Drew, did you?
I don't think it was a full-on like sit-down conversation as much as it was. Yeah, I don't remember it, to be honest with you. So it wasn't too long if I did have it.
My sister got pregnant as a teenager, and I think they just decided he'll learn that lesson from there.
All right. Coming up next, we got to play you some audio from our neighbors in St. Louis. I think they're very, very confused. We'll also talk a little bit more about the AL Central in the final half hour of our show. Coming up right here on Cody and Gold.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Cole Reagans, and you're listening to Cody and Gold. Weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
You're looking for a place to make those selections for playoff basketball. We'll look nowhere else other than Underdog, one of the best places to make entries during basketball playoffs, where you can get bigger boosts with each round of the playoffs as they continue. And you can do it from your state because it's one of the fastest growing sports games apps that you can play on the Missouri side. You can be sitting on your couch tonight watching West Coast baseball late. Well, I guess I played a day game today, but you get the point. Join the millions of fans who have already won billions making plays over an Underdog. Why not be next? I, for instance, like Jalen Brunson to go higher than 28.5 points tonight. But if you like those, you can mix and match sports. You can do hockey or Major League Baseball or NBA and make those selections by choosing those favorite player stats. Like I said, points, assists, rebounds, and so much more. And you can play with as little as $1. Download the Underdog app, sign up using promo code TAPP, TAPP, to unlock a special offer for up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. That's promo code TAPP. TAPP. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdog.com. Concern with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
We're hiring residential garage door installers at Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. Join the team trusted here since 1927. Apply today. Get a call today. No experience necessary. Paid training for motivated applicants to install garage doors. Hiring bonus up to $2,500. Mechanical, carpentry, or service industry experience is a plus. Good benefits include health, dental, vision, and pension. Earn as you learn to service the best garage door customers in KC. Apply today at overheaddoorkc.com.
Bank of America is a nation's leading business lender, and we're ready to help with your next goal here in Kansas City. That's why we have over 3,700 local business specialists across the country. Because with the right team, your business and community prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
It's the spring sales event at Rob Sight Ford, and I'm here with the man himself, Rob Sight. Rob, you already stole the spotlight. Now what are you trying to take?
Just your attention, Kevin, and maybe a few trade-ins. Now, we've got up to $14,000 off new Fords with employee pricing, plus our own dealer discount.
$14,000. That's hotter than your Sunday barbecue.
Exactly. And unlike your burgers, these deals won't dry out. We've got hard-to-find inventory, huge trade-in values, and our non-commissioned sales team makes everything so easy.
No pressure, just real help. Even I'll admit it, it's the best place in Kansas City to buy a car, and I don't hand out compliments lightly. Or seconds.
That's a fact. And don't forget, we're Kansas City's top-rated Ford dealer on Google. 4.8 stars, nearly 3,000 reviews, and 0 grill marks.
All right, Rob, I'll give it to you, man. You're cooking up some real value over there.
Come see us at 135th and State Line or visit robsight.com. But hurry, these deals are sizzling and inventory is moving fast.
And tell him Rob sent you. No guarantees, but he might throw in a hot dog.
Stop before you dig. Click or call 811. Every dig, every time.
planting a tree, building a fence. Before you dig, contact Missouri 811. It's free, it's easy, and it's the law. Submit a locate request at Missouri-811.org or simply call 811 3 days before digging. Dig smart. Dig safe.
Stop before you dig. Click or call 811. Every dig, every time.
It's the law. Sponsored by Missouri 811.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC part solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
At Napa, we've spent the last 100 years building our business into an engine that powers yours. Whether you're big or small, national or local, Napa has the automotive solutions your business needs to stay moving. And it's all driven by a nationwide network of quality parts and exceptional service on one mission: to keep your business moving full speed ahead. That's why we are the pros that know.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, to check you have your phone first, before the cab pulls away.
Hey, thanks, man. No, wait, my phone! Come back! It's got my boarding pass, credit cards, phone numbers, my life! Come back!
Checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Go check out 96.5 The Fan's Instagram page for videos, giveaways, and behind-the-scenes content. Your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2. Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp with you. We are live up north in Briarcliff. Beautiful area of town. You guys have been up here before. Specifically, we are at Heartland Men's Health Clinic, one of their 3 locations, and since April of 2023, they have successfully treated thousands of men across the 3 conveniently located medical offices, I should say. And look, as guys, we know sometimes we just wait forever when something's wrong. You're not feeling right. You're like, it's not a big deal. It'll just sort itself out. Well, you wait a long time to seek medical care. Obviously, that's just prolonging the problem. At Heartland Men's Health, they understand. They're going to take the time to ensure they put a personal plan together specifically for you. You don't have to worry about sitting in a waiting room for a while and making an awkward situation. None of that. You can walk in, and as soon as you have your appointment scheduled, or even walk-ins are welcome until 3:30 at any of the 3 locations, you're going to get into an exam room right away. So you're not going to be sitting there and have to deal with that situation. Take that first step towards reclaiming your health, your confidence, and your sex life. You can call today at 844-447-6600 or visit heartlandmenshealth.com to schedule that appointment. Drew, you were telling us something during the break in regards to the Rockies. There's a fan that got hit with a foul ball, but that's not why he's suing. He's suing saying fans don't pay attention to the baseball product because it stinks. Is that right? That's his logic behind it.
So the central claim of the lawsuit, according to this story, Front Office Sports put it out. The central claim is the product on the field is so poor that fans were not paying attention to the game. As a result, this fan got hit in the eye by a foul ball, basically suing the team for being bad.
Oh, my God, that's an incredible...
I mean, it's unfortunate you got hit in the eye. But
I know,
also...
but like the back of that ticket, I know now online in the ticket, essentially is like,
you
might get hit with a bat or a ball.
It's not their problem.
Life's life, although, it's not like there haven't been other...
For sure, there's been lots of hot dogs and all kinds of stuff.
But he's saying these are extenuating circumstances. Under normal circumstances, I would be watching.
Good luck.
To make sure I keep myself safe.
Good luck.
But your team's so bad.
Good luck.
I can't possibly be held responsible for my own safety when you give me such a poor product on the field that I can't even watch it. You don't like that?
Good luck. Good luck proving that one. It's interesting. It's an interesting path.
I think the one there. What was the other?
What was the
lawsuit?
one? Well, there's the one with the hot dog cannon.
Well, yeah, that was here.
Yeah.
But then no, it was the one there's one that's going on. Oh yeah, there's a fan right now who's suing the NFL over what happened in Shedeur Sanders' draft slide.
Yes.
And has been requesting early discovery as a part of it. Said the urgency, public interest, and volume of evidence likely to be in the exclusive possession of the NFL. Seeks emails and text messages amongst a broad range of league officials during that time, team officials during that time. He thinks it's all a big conspiracy, and he's suing the NFL for discovery.
Yeah.
Which, if you could choose one of those to win so that we get all the evidence, which one do you want?
Which one?
If you're going to choose like one to go to court and we get to like have a court hearing over it.
Over what?
The Shedeur Sanders or the Rockies guy?
Oh, the Shedeur Sanders thing. Even now, yeah, the Shedeur Sanders.
The odds of like a couple of text messages.
The Shedeur Sanders thing, only not because I think something weird happened, but just the fact that you'd have text messages from these GMs and executives and stuff. That's why.
And by the way, imagine how bad it would be if it's just like, man, that guy stinks. We are not interested. Or how, I mean, it could go a lot of dark ways, man.
I guess.
I kind of want to see what the court argument would be like. This team's so bad. And then, like, think about Exhibit A.
Here's their record.
Here's the Rockies' right fielder attempting to get this ball. I don't know what he's doing. It's like a John Boy breakdown of the Rockies season, essentially.
He pulls up their home records. He's like, see, they're this many games under 500. And after the third inning, they're already down by 3 runs on average. And so nobody's paying attention from innings 4 through 6.
The scientist I brought in today. Okay, Bill, you are an expert in
of course,
attention
the
spans.
scientist's name is Bill.
Yeah,
of course.
You're an expert in how attention spans in the human. If somebody hasn't been entertained in more than 30 minutes, what typically happens to the human brain, Bill? He's like, well, a lot of times it goes into a state of what we call shutting down, where you're just not paying attention anymore.
Someone says if it's like the Chiefs of Hall League lawyer, there'll be a bunch of baseball references.
Oh, yeah. My client's not trying to.
That thing's going to get dismissed. Come on now.
I mean,
that's going to get dismissed.
Most likely, yes. Depends how much money the guy's got, Depends on
they
how
would
far
say
down the
if
rabbit
you
hole
thought
he wants to take it.
they would be like, you bought the ticket. Nobody forced you to watch the bad baseball.
That's true.
Case closed. We're done.
It was a volunteer.
You bought a ticket for this. You knew the Rockies sucked. You know what I mean? You knew it wasn't some magical thing that all of a sudden the Rockies stunk. You knew they were bad when you bought the ticket.
That's true. What if he bought it before the season? Does he have any argument then?
Maybe.
If this was purchased as a part of a season ticket, like a partial season ticket package?
My guess is
And
the
every
fact
Sunday
the fact he's suing, he's not a season ticket holder.
Something along the lines of, I could stand this no longer. As a result, I'm pinch hitting, and I'm rounding third in regards to this lawsuit. Hoping to get home soon.
Was not physically possible. I mean, I'm just looking at this stuff. I mean, it does look like this guy got really hurt.
Oh, I don't doubt that, but his
You
reason
can't
for
blame you can't say,
some
well,
of the
the
quotes
team
were
stinks, so nobody's paying attention. Just don't go to the games then.
Quote, the diminished competitive quality of play has fostered a stadium culture in which socializing, dining, and business networking has become the primary focus for the attendees.
Okay.
The filing says that the Rockies have leaned into the shift to hospitality over spectating, citing the removal of right field seats to install a fan deck with limited views of the actual game itself.
Oh, this guy might have a case now.
No, because they have good
Man,
food?
this guy got stuck.
Because they have good food and beverage? Come on.
You want to say, here's an argument against him. The complaint happened after the fan was struck during the first inning, so he didn't even get that far into the game.
So they weren't even losing yet. His excuse is gone. They weren't even losing the game
Also,
yet.
in the first inning, you were bored?
My thing is, where was he? If he was at this area, this deck area where he couldn't see the field and got hit in the face, he might have a better argument.
I just gotta be honest, man. Every time you go to like a thing like that, I'm not saying you still can't sue just based on stuff, but anytime you go to one of those things, those tickets typically say, bat might hit you, ball might hit you, be prepared. We've all seen that video of that guy sticking his arm out so that bat doesn't whip that kid in the face, as he's looking down at his cell phone. That's all. Good stuff.
Real quick, did you see the update on the scary situation? The Pirates fan, the one that flipped over.
No, I didn't see the update. That was
what I'm talking about, right? The
yeah.
fan that flipped over and very seriously hurt. The update is they arrested a fan that was allegedly giving. This fan was underage.
Yeah, he was like 18, 19.
Was giving, I think 20, was giving this guy alcohol, buying it
Oh,
for him or
wow.
something. They made an arrest.
Is the guy alive?
I believe he is alive, but I do not know his condition. Yeah.
Okay. That was one of those, like...
Yeah, man charged with providing beer to underage Pirates fans who fell from stands.
Dang. Oh, fans. He was providing it to a number.
He was charged with giving alcohol to a 20-year-old who fell 2 stories at the Pirates game.
These stories, some of these stories are crazy, but like going back to the the lawsuit and stuff, it feels like people are just
furnishing alcohol
getting
to a
triggered. These people are getting offended easily.
It says he's at the point now, as of yesterday, he's at the point now that he's off the breathing machine. He's out of the intensive care unit and
That's good.
preparing to move on to the next step, which will be physical therapy and rehab. So the guy's alive, but I mean,
That's good.
It's gonna suck.
But yeah, I don't know if this was his friend because it said 21-year-old was charged, so it was some. So
Oh, it's probably just his buddy.
Could have been a buddy.
Dang.
Who knows?
That sucks. Just making. And I mean, like situations like that, it's like you have to understand the risk you're taking. But it always seemed crazy. Gold, I guarantee you, some 21-year-old friend of yours in college bought you a 20-year-old a drink. That
Never,
it's not an
Cody.
uncommon
Never.
experience.
Never happened. Never.
But it's like, if we're gonna do this and you're gonna be underage drinking, you can't fall from the state. There are bigger
Yeah,
consequences.
of
It's like
course.
anything else.
When something
if
serious
you get caught
happens,
or something serious
yes.
happens, well then, the repercussions change.
Yeah, it was such a high-profile, event, I should say, that occurred. You're going to have more focus on it. They're going to investigate, and so it's a bad situation for everybody involved.
Did you go to any parents? You don't have to name their names because I could still, I guess, maybe.
Oh, I know what you're about to ask. Yeah.
Were there parents in your high school that were okay with you drinking at their house?
I didn't do that in high school.
At all?
I swear, I did not do that.
Well, that's fine. I believe you.
Did not do that. Nope. Did not do that in high school.
Okay. There were several parents that were okay with it. Man, I had one of my friends, multiple, but one of my friends' parents, his rule was just like, he would buy the alcohol for us, but we just had to buy double the same amount of alcohol that he already wanted to drink.
Mm-hmm.
So, he drove Keystone Light. So we had to buy him a 30. If we wanted 30 beers, we had to buy him 30 beers.
Yeah.
So we had to buy 30 Keystone Lights, and he'd give us, or we had to buy 60,
Mm-hmm.
and he'd give us 30 of them.
Yeah.
It was that kind of exchange. Not the best parenting, probably, in retrospect.
Yeah, there was never somebody's house we went over where their parents knew we were drinking and were just cool with it. That never.
Yeah, that was multiple houses.
That exact scenario did.
Maybe
not
my
happen.
own house. I don't want to say for sure, but
You sound like that guy doing the 80s news report. Wait,
yeah,
parents
I don't know.
don't let kids drink anymore?
It
Hang on
wasn't
a
that.
second.
I went to. There were a couple of places where the rule was you had to give them your keys. It was never like they were drinking with us and it was a house party and they were just kicking it. Any of the house party things I went to where it was like 40 kids, 50 kids. No, the parents were gone. When you're talking about it was 4 of us on a Friday night, the rule was you had to give a couple of parents I knew. The rule was you had to give them your keys. You couldn't leave. They weren't going to let you make an additional mistake. I guess maybe the argument, who knows what the argument was at the time. I would not do that with my own kids. I can't speak to it. I told you I lived in a relatively low rule household. Drew, did you ever go to someone's house and drink in high school that the parents knew?
Not in high school. When I was in college, though, I would go over to see some of my friends from high school who would have some alcohol and stuff, and we would hang out.
Okay.
It was never anything ridiculous, I guess, but yeah, in college, 1920, that happened.
All right. Let's get to some of the NFL rules. Getting very bogged down in the details. Now, text line's funny. Different time, different era.
Yeah.
Totally different time period.
Uh-huh.
The NFL essentially had a bunch of very serious things that could have happened today in the NFL that would have fundamentally changed the sport in a couple of ways. The tush push, and of course the playoff reseeding. Lions pulled it. Lions must not have had anywhere close to the number of support that they thought that they would have for the playoff reseeding rule, which means it's probably years down the road. What's going to change on that's going to change people's opinion? Versus the Chiefs, when they asked for the rule in the overtime in the playoffs. Another game happened that occurred. So unless, I guess this year, there are 2 14-win teams again, one's the 1 seed, one's the 5 or 6, it's going to be hard for it to come up for a vote again.
I think that's what potentially could change. If it's another year in which a team is a wild card team that's 14, 13 wins, and we have let's call it a 9 or, 9's pretty tough now with 18 games, but 9 or 10 win division, that's when people will say once again, see, it's another year. But if it is what I think is going to happen is where we won't have this exact same scenario for 2 years in a row, then it won't gain traction again next year. But I bet you next March, if we're coming off a season where somebody wins 13 or 14 games and they have to go to a team that people view as inferior on the road, I think you'll see people look at that if there's a huge win discrepancy. I can't stand the idea of re-seeing the playoffs. I think it's foolish. I'm so glad they tabled that today.
Look, I don't like the extreme examples. I do think that there's a time in which it creates a fairness issue because, we've arbitrarily decided divisions matter, right? Wins matter. We know that they matter. Winning a game matters. Divisions are an arbitrary construct that we've decided to throw into the sporting world that we agree we like or whatever, but it is just generally a concept, not a thing that actually holds a more contained value. But the extreme example of people I saw this morning is you could go 0-6 in your division and still host a playoff game. I'm like, okay, but that's never happened. So why are you even bringing that up? I guess no one's ever gone 0-6 in their division because you know what? If you go 0-6, real hard to win your division, Gold, because of all the other games you will have to win. Also, your division will have to be bad. So you have to lose all 6 games to a bad division and then win your other 9 of your other 11 games. Get out of here. No, it doesn't. And so, it's just this missing reality when you go that far down the road. But yeah, the Lions were the far better team. They were the more accomplished team. The Vikings were a far more accomplished team. They were the better team. Does that deserve a home playoff game for their fans more than a team who randomly got paired with these other 3 teams geographically 40 years ago? I don't know, maybe. But again, for one game, I wouldn't make the change. For 4 or 5, I would. I've already told you my plan stinks. I was glad they tabled it. I would rather not have it than have the wrong solution to this problem.
Right. And again, the proposal was division winner would still get a playoff spot, but you were going to not be guaranteed a home game, which I just thought would have been a bad idea. And it sounds like a lot of owners were skittish on that kind of change as well. And we'll see if this comes back up. My guess is it will at some point. Roger Goodell wanted it. That's why I think it'll come back up at some point when you have a commissioner that wants to make it happen.
No, you're probably right. I don't think there's any reason to not think that they won't at some point. Although Goodell, they tabled his contract talks today. They got too busy.
Tabled his contract talks.
Got too busy doing tush-push conversation.
He also wanted the tush-push ban, and it didn't happen. That's 2 things that he wanted to have happen did not happen.
Losing his power. Maybe he's going to ask for some more cash.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why would I'm 66. Just quit.
What?
You got to be the punching bag? He's made enough money, man. I personally, there's
Goodell
an amount of
makes, Cody, do you know what he makes a year?
Do
you know what he makes a year? This is why you don't quit. He's making $64 million a year.
But what I'm saying is he's been making that for 20 years. He doesn't need more money.
He is on track. I think now he's over $700 million in career earnings or something like that.
Yeah, so
keep on working.
No, you don't need more.
Well, that's not how this works.
For me, it is.
66 is not that old.
For me, it is. 66, I'm out. I'm going to go sit drinking a Mai Tai.
You have a chance.
Mahomes does.
You are in a position that the NFL commissioner is one of the most powerful positions you can have, and it's around the NFL. That's what you don't give that up. You have to. You know what I mean? You don't give that up. Now, I'm not saying he's going to do it when he's 80. Okay, I think this is probably the last contract extension he's going to get. Then he'll retire.
So Roger Goodell is paid $9 more million than the highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, he creates. That's the job, man.
He's already estimated to have earned above $500 million since becoming commissioner.
Yeah.
Then he just got an extension for $200 million. So yeah, he's probably over $700 million.
Says his net worth is $300 million after.
I believe it.
In fairness to Cody's point, dude, just retire and go live on the beach forever. Like you're done.
We're acting like he can't ever go to the beach with his current job.
He can't go as restful. He's got to get yelled at by Jerry Jones blowing up his phone on Saturday afternoon.
After these meetings are done now, he's about to go on a nice vacation. They just wrapped up league meetings.
Relax, you know?
He just wrapped up league meetings. I bet you he's about to go on a nice month-long vacation.
I'd be out. Out.
$500 million career earnings. I'm done.
$64 million is crazy.
So how does the commissioner make $64 million a year? Well, when the league is taking in how many billion a year?
I don't know. It might be $1 trillion at this point. It's probably got the GDP of
revenue.
Venezuela.
2024 fiscal year, the NFL generated more than $23 billion in revenue.
In fairness,
that's how he's making $60 billion a year.
The commissioner of a sport should not be making more than any of the players, because the players are the main reason why these guys are good anyways. I know that it's just the way that it is.
Nobody's going to take the commissioner job and just make $1 million a year. As far as like
too big of a headache
in that whole. I say nobody. Okay, like let's.
I would.
Yeah, like no kidding.
Cody, I'll go be the commissioner.
I'll go do it for $1 million.
$1 million.
The point is someone that is qualified to do that is not taking it for $1 million.
Oh, dude, I'll take all the arrows. They can boo my ass.
Because people that are in those positions, like Roger Goodell, could have operated a lot of different organizations. Probably, he's a very successful business person as well. Anyway, so
my thing, and look, everyone's life is different, and I understand the idea of like you're turning down $60 million. There's an amount of money in my life in which I'm done. I'm out, and it is at. It's probably long before, but it is definitely at the amount of money Roger Goodell's making now. I'm not trying to make an extension. I got $300 million in the bank. My kids don't have to work. It's fine. I'm good. I think I'm set.
Yeah, it's a stressful job, but also think about, like, you also get to do some amazing things attached to it
Sure.
as well.
But I think if you're the retired NFL commissioner, you can essentially get invited to anything you still want to go to.
Yeah.
You do that job for 20 years.
You'll be welcome into any country club,
There's
whatever.
on a smaller scale, there's a legacy aspect to it, too. We still know the name Paul Tagliabue and stuff. Like, I think
you want to be like one of the better commissioners.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, for crying out loud, it is funny to me. Like, the commissioner's signature is on a damn football. That's kind of funny to me, if we really think about why. The commissioner's signature is on the football. On every football. The replicas, all of them. Why?
This goes back to our whole – you want to change history, Can't change history.
But they changed the name as the commissioners are voted in. It's not like it doesn't always have Goodell's signature on it. It has it as long as he's a commissioner. There was one that had Paul Tagliabue's signature on it for X amount of years.
Should have the first guy's name on it and then no other new name ever.
In fairness to Cody's point, the sooner Roger Goodell retires, I'm sure the sooner he gets a trophy named after him, or some sort of award.
No.
I did see
not to go back down that rabbit hole
today. That was one other thing they did.
That?
They added a new award today.
Okay.
In the NFL, they added the Protector of the Year award for the best offensive lineman.
Okay. Is that why Jason Kelsey was there?
I'm dead serious. No, there wasn't.
Yeah, someone says every sport has the commissioner on the ball. I know, that's my point. I don't get why we need the commissioner's signature on every sport's ball.
It's just a thing. Apparently, we do.
No,
I just have no signature.
It's just funny to me, like why out of all people is the commissioner? Why is the commissioner's signature on every baseball, every basketball, every football? I don't know. Why do we need that? Like it's official now. He sanctioned this sport.
I don't know. It's like mayors being the voice of the airport. Apparently, it's just like part of the thing you get to do if you get the job.
The Roger Goodell Protector of the Year award. I don't know.
Protector of the Year award. No, you got to name it after like
Trent Williams or something.
Right?
Or we can go further back.
Joe Thomas.
Yeah, Joe Thomas. Keep going. There's plenty of great offensive linemen in NFL history.
Pace. You just got to name one of the guys in the Hall of Fame.
Baselli, whatever.
I would say a more modern name maybe this time, a name that we remember playing instead of just like Jack Youngblood or something.
I don't want Joe Thomas then.
I don't want some like 80-year-old. Just name it after like someone somewhat recent.
Joe Thomas didn't win a single thing in his life as a member of the Cleveland Browns. Just give him the name for the award.
How many Protector of the Year awards do you think Creed Humphrey will win in his career?
Center's tough. One maybe.
Maybe one.
I think it's tough as a center. Tackle seems like they have an edge here.
We're tough on center now.
I think
even for Protector of the Year.
There's a reason why tackles make more money. I think tackles would get priority over the center in this scenario.
Top ranked, highest graded offensive lineman by year. You ready?
Sure.
Jordan Mailata was the highest graded Pro Football Focus offensive lineman last year.
Okay.
Penei Sewell in 2023. Chris Lindstrom for the Falcons in 2022, and Trent Williams for 2020.
How many of those are centers?
One.
Yes.
One's a guard. One's
actually
3 are tackles and one's a guard.
See, I think it's tough. I think it's tough being a center, man. It's tough out there for the centers.
Name recognition, though. Like if you're Jason Kelsey, you weren't going to win one Protector of the Year award.
Someone says the Richie Incognito.
Oh my
award.
gosh! Okay. Someone say Creed Humphrey sucks.
Well, that's
who is this?
Just factually incorrect.
I'm assuming he's just trolling.
Jeez.
Like I don't want to point out statistical facts, but I mean.
He's still going. He's actually serious about it. He's
really?
good his first
is.
year. Okay.
Wow.
Anyway,
I mean, I'm just going to disagree, I guess.
He was one of 11 offensive linemen not to allow one sack or less or pressure or whatever it was.
If anything, your point is that While being lazy, he gave up 0 sacks. He might be the most talented offensive lineman in the league.
The protector of the year, though, man, it's just going to be the best tackle of the year. It's going to be the tackle of the year award. I agree. I think
they should do what college does and just do position by position. Best center, best guard, best tackle.
Hand out participation trophies to everybody, I guess.
Oh, it's not we've already talked
the best
about
at
this,
every
though.
position, I guess.
Best long snapper. Congratulations, James Winchester.